Warning: this video contains themes of violence, explicit content, drug use, or anything deemed inappropriate for children. This video is for educational and documentary purposes only. This video is not intended to encourage any of that behavior in any way. Every effort has been made to remove any content that violates YouTube's community guidelines. If you'd like to see a completely uncensored version of this video, head over to patreon.com/itsAaronSpeaking. The link will be in the description. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Let's get it.
16 years old and completely unstoppable. Can't be dropped, so I considered undroppable.
Happy birthday to you.
Any MC who try to step to this, my neck just twists and spin like the Exorcist.
Nothing but idiots and misfits, bitches doing whippets, passed out like sample snippets.
I'm a little shroomed out, acided out, weeded out, and every other drug you can think of. I'm on it, but I don't promote drugs, alright? Don't try this at home.
I myself, and Marshall Mathers.
The lyrical content of Eminem's records have caused uproar across the nation due to his indiscriminate attacks on various groups within society.
I'm trying to get my head straight, but I can't figure out which Spice Girl I want to impregnate. Now listen to me, while you're kissing a cheek and smearing a lipstick, slip this in a drink. My words are like a dagger with a jagged edge. It'll stab you in the head, whether you're a or less. See, Slim, shut up, I'm trying to talk. Shut up, you're causing too much chaos. Just bend over and take it like a okay, ma? So I can sit next to Carson Daly and Fred Durst and hear them argue over who she gave to first. And Moby, you can get stoned by Obi. You 36-year-old boy that lonely. With a can full of gas and a handful of matches, and still weren't found out. His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. There's vomit on his sweater already. This free world's got you gassed up. Now who's afraid of the big bad boy?
So I put out a D12 album. It's called Devil's Night. And if you don't got it, which you don't, then go buy it.
If you don't listen to 50, then listen to me. And if I didn't tell you, if 50 didn't tell you, then I told you.
Now hush, little baby, don't you cry. Everything's gonna be alright. And I didn't feel a thing, so baby, don't feel no pain, just smile back. My name is Big Proof. And my name is Slim Shady.
And I'm Dirty Harry.
His real name is Deshaun Holton. Proof died of his gunshot wounds. His fans are reacting to the violence.
When it's beef, you just gotta know when to put in and put out. Oh, looks like another club banger. They better hang on when they throw this thing on.
I feel like anybody can do anything they set their mind to. But it depends on how bad you want it, and I wanted to do it. You know, at this stage of my life, I don't feel like there's too much that I can't do. I don't mean to sound cocky or nothing, but if I like really want to do it, I don't give up that easy.
Marshall Bruce Mathers III, aka Eminem, was born on October 17th in 1972 in St. Joseph, Missouri. He had an extremely underprivileged and wild upbringing. The best way to describe his environment was dark, bleak, gloomy, however you want to describe it. Just a really poor way of growing up. A lost child with a father who abandoned his family. A troubled mother and a grandmother who was an alcoholic, who was allegedly abused by her mother, and he was moving from place to place constantly, with a dysfunctional family and no stability to hold on to. His relationship with his mother was very rocky, violent, and she described herself as very overprotective. And to be honest, Eminem has never really pictured his mom in a bright light, to say the least. He's called her a pill popper, was never around, dated the wrong kind of guys, etc. But we'll get into that. Her overprotection, you can argue that it stripped him of his ability to truly flourish as a boy / have any masculinity. And his time at school wasn't a walk in the park either. A white kid moving around constantly getting bullied from all the black kids, making him feel like he just didn't belong, simply for who he was. He even spoke about this in a song he wrote called Brain Damage, where he speaks about a dude who damn near put him in a coma for about a week.
I was harassed daily by this fat kid named D'Angelo Bailey.
But we'll get into the music in a few. His whole childhood to his teenage years, he was bullied and survived a whole lot. But where did this love for rap even begin? Well, he began rapping at the age of 11, writing poems, rhyming words together, and going at it with his schoolmates in the lunchroom. It really was what brought joy to his life, and by the age of 14, he really started to take it serious. And that was the year he would meet his soon-to-be best friend, Proof. At Osborne High School, Proof would sneak him into the lunchroom to battle and hustle against others that were there. Proof would say, and I quote, "I got 20 bucks on the white boy." As M would call it, it was the quote-unquote white men can't jump theory. No one thought the white boy could win. Proof would start banging a beat on the table, and M would beat everyone who wanted to battle. They'd go home and split the money, and it felt like they were street sharks in a way. But people started getting hip to that game, so they kind of had to come up with something new. And that something new for M would be painting on jeans and jackets, in which he would steal the paint from stores and charge like 60 bucks for each client, and give like 20 to Proof because he was the one spreading the word for him. Proof was the one who taught M how to stand up and be a man, taught that boy how to fight and everything. They would bare knuckle box to the point where Proof would even knock him out, with M telling him, "Don't knock my teeth out, please." Proof would also constantly keep M on his P's and Q's, coming into the house with bloody knuckles, where Proof would do drills for them, where one of them would pick a word and then see how many words they could rhyme with it. When Eminem was 15 though, he would get into a relationship after he met a girl at a party who was 13, and her name was Kim. He would even bring Kim home to live with him just soon after they started dating. This Beastie Boys album played a huge part in Eminem's life, because of course they were three white guys rapping in a predominantly black music form, and their music was fun. One of the best live hip-hop shows Eminem ever attended was Run DMC's Tougher Than Leather tour, where Beastie Boys actually opened up for them. It was a night he couldn't forget, and that was in the late 80s. And speaking of the late 80s, in 1988, he would begin to kind of make a name for himself, originally named MC-Double-M.
Step my way and you must be insane. Don't come near me if you don't like pain.
Eventually becoming Eminem, which would be an acronym for his initials, Marshall Mathers.
When I talk about foolish pride, I mean blacks and whites taking different sides.
I think you are getting too big for your britches, but that's okay cause I'm on the road to the riches. It's not your hair, I think it's your armpits. It's not your hair, I think it's your armpits.
And after failing the 9th grade 3 times in a row, he would quit school, saying that it just wasn't for him. But he was persistent and forced himself onto radio shows, freestyle battles, and really thrusted himself into the rap game. The first time he rapped at an actual club was when he was in his teens. He just wanted to try it out, and according to M, it was terrible. It was a party called the Rhythm Kitchen. He went with some friends, but not Proof. He was mainly trying to poke fun at himself, saying things like cracker or honky, and he thought it would be funny or cool, but bruh, the crowd just started booing right away.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
That was the moment where he was like, damn, maybe this rap stuff is just not for me.
Alright, everybody in the crowd. Fuck that honky, fuck that honky, fuck that honky, let's fuck that honky, come on, fuck that honky, let's fuck that honky, fuck that honky, let's fuck that honky. There ain't idiots, battle, idiots, bring us to the rap, and enough the battle, put on the paddle, the prettiest, the fuck, look at quick as hat, don't shut me down, fuck, second G's, teacher hanging nuts up, and I'm about to take my look a bit, I'm beautiful, but I'm always got a booty full of time, and just took a chick, singing just pull out the wrong tree, cause I got diarrhea, fucking honky. So now I'm making
It would take him a while before he could really find that confidence to perform in public again. He was making songs whenever he could, but since his equipment was so ghetto, he would have to nail it in one take off the top.
Oh, that's gotta hurt.
Do it again, I wasn't looking.
In 1989, he joined Basement Productions, his first rap group, which they would later change their name to Soul Intent with Proof and other childhood friends, even dropping a tape called Stepping Onto the Scene in 1990.
Taking the spaces for races, sleeping no vacuity. So now I'm security's original, soon as said and done. Plumbing a better turn, the son of all heroin. You too slow for the flow, and I know that Eminem is returning to bust the rhyme, and suckers are learning. So when I kinda go off beat a little bit, I step back to the rhyme and say.
Around this time when Eminem was 18, he still didn't really know what he wanted to do with his life. He honestly thought he could be better at basketball than at rap. believe it or not, and took basketball pretty damn serious that whole year, playing every day. He said, and I quote, "Basketball was a long shot, but so was rapping. Vanilla Ice made it damn near impossible for a white kid to get respect in rap music. Proof and I wanted the dream, so we gambled big. We dropped out and went for the gold." Bro, just peep this super rare radio interview in 1991, where they play a song called Male Prostitute.
To Eminem over here.
Okay, we're gonna let the bassman kick it here. Now, what's the name of this rhyme?
Male prostitute.
Are you ready to kick it?
Oh, definitely.
Go. Here we go. Hey, baby, let me have a word with your man. Now let me show you exactly where I stand. I'd like you to enter my fortress, cause you're just the most gorgeous woman I've ever seen. And for just...
Also in December of 91, Eminem's uncle, Ronnie Nelson, ended his own life by using a shotgun to the head. And the crazy thing is, Eminem was so heartbroken that he couldn't even bring himself to attend the funeral. 2 days after his uncle Ronnie was buried, he received a package in the mail from his mother. When Eminem opened the box, the first thing he saw was a VHS tape with "For Marshall" written on it. And when he moved that VHS tape out of the way and looked at what was inside, he would scream in agony, collapsing to the floor, and would continue to scream until his voice completely gave out. Since Eminem didn't want to attend the funeral, his mother took it upon herself to film the funeral and take a bunch of photographs of the open casket. Yeah, for some reason they decided to have an open casket. And the first thing Eminem saw was a close-up of his uncle. It was the very thing Eminem had tried so hard to avoid, only for his mom to go out of her way to make sure Eminem experienced the trauma of Ronnie's funeral. This was just another thing that Debbie had come up with to hurt her son. What also sucks is that Ronnie was the reason Eminem even liked hip-hop in the first place, since he introduced M to hip-hop way back in the day.
The first time I heard anything, my Uncle Ronnie brought over a tape, the Breaking soundtrack, and it had Reckless on it from Ice-T. Yeah, my Uncle Ronnie started liking rap before I did, and then he kind of introduced me to it right around that time. I think the movie had just come out, and I saw the movie, and I was like, yo, I love it. And it just, I don't know, it just spoke to me in a way that no other music had spoke to me before.
By 1992, M and his crew Soul Intent would drop another tape called Still in the Basement.
Slack by the wind as I begin. Do you know who I am? And many reply with a grin. Yes, I'm tired of being obtruded. Why should I be secluded? I've got a brand new horn to be tooted. I've got fever sleeping at my house to go live. Cause after one massage, I hit him with a barrage. I flash the can top. My garage and driveway, I fill the park. While I dream of visitors who didn't survive me.
It was also around this time when he moved to another place on the east side of Detroit, on Navarra Street. That was a house full of bachelors, so he would get off of work at around 11 o'clock and they'd all sit on the porch and drink 40s and rap against each other or freestyle. Around this time, he would take whatever finished product he had up to Lisa and DJ Dick, I know, funny name, who were radio hosts in Detroit, where they would host a show called Open Mic every Friday night. Mark Bass heard one of their songs called Crackers and Cheese on the radio, and he liked it. Him and his brother Jeff had a studio, the Funky Bass Team, or FBT. He called up Lisa and asked, yo, who is that? They spoke to him on the air, and then they ended up going to their studio. They would go on to make a 3-song demo tape. The Bass brothers had a little connection, and they played the songs for some people at Elektra Records. The label told them, and I quote, Eminem sounds too young. Interesting. Eminem at this point was using his income tax money to start recording more at the studio, and Mark would eventually let him record more and more since he saw how serious he really was and taking initiative. In fact, so much so that Eminem would draw the cover arts, drive his Mercury Tracer around to record stores to put his tapes on consignment, selling maybe only like 3 tapes. Some of the songs off the tape were called Effin' Backstabber,
And both of us know we can't discuss the situation like it's always confrontation just for those and accusations and insults. So why we just let it go for now? We need to be over now.
and Bitter Phobia.
I'm sticking in through the back door. Booty MCs get ambushed. Rammed and squished, slammed and pushed, crammed and mushed. Then I'm moving on down from the right to left. So bite the mat, prepare to fight to death. Lick attack, attacked and cracked in two.
By this point in 95, rap was kinda just still a pipe dream for M, but it was all he had. His girl Kim was pregnant with his first child Haley, and they were always getting evicted or their home was getting shot up or robbed. I can't help but think of the song Mockingbird as I say that. But anyways, they had to move from Kim's parents' house for a while and live up in the attic, where you couldn't even stand up in it. Every night he was just writing rhymes, listening to beats on the stereo whenever he could. He thought maybe I could just make a new demo tape and figure out how to shop it, but he ended up slowing down a bit. That's when Proof was on him though, like, bruh, get your ass out of that rut, and told M to come down to the hip hop shop with him to see what kind of response he'll get. And that, my friends, is when Eminem's career would make a big turn. Maurice Malone, fashion designer and the creator of the famous The Hip Hop Shop, was located in Detroit from 1993 to 1997 and was originally just a clothing shop, but it quickly became more popular for its open mic sessions, where there would be pretty intense rap battles in there, hosted and managed by Proof on Saturdays from 4 to 6 o'clock. M described the hip hop shop kind of like the Apollo Theater. You get booed out there quicker than ever if you're not paying attention. The crowd would let you have it if you weren't on your A game. And Proof was smart for bringing out M because he shut that place down. Everyone was asking like, yo, where'd you find this kid at? He started performing there every week and put his work schedule around performing there. He started building the confidence he needed after hearing all the oohs and ahs, and eventually would start getting paid to perform there, and that meant a lot to him. Now at this point in time, M was signed to Web Entertainment, a Detroit-based record label ran by the Bass Brothers, and after hearing Tupac's Me Against the World and Nas's Illmatic, M was inspired to create his debut studio album. After his daughter was born, M would start recording in the Bass Brothers' basement. The album would be complete by the summer and would officially be released on November 12, 1996. It was released on cassette and vinyl, and M was selling copies out the trunk of his car in Detroit. It was considered to be a commercial failure, and M said it barely sold over 70 copies. He even said he purposely made Infinite songs quote-unquote radio friendly in hopes of getting played on Detroit radio stations.
But I don't panic and huff, frantic and puff, or plan to give up. The minute shit hits a fan, it erupts. So what you know about a sweet MC? In the 313, none of these skills you're about to see come free. Cause all I do is earn a life without a concern and dream of having a turn to earn money to burn. I'm reminiscing on your tenderness and the snuggling and teasing, missing what I remember kissing and hugging and squeezing.
The album received lukewarm reviews, and critics would say it's good, but M needs to find his own distinctive style, which he has yet to find. It's funny because people wonder why it flopped, since the quality of it isn't that bad, but M just didn't have the machine behind him yet. And when you had albums like these come out the same year, yeah, it just couldn't compete with the other greatness that was around at the time, and pretty hard to stand out. The track Infinite though is absolutely amazing.
My rhyming skills got you climbing hills. I travel through your mind into your spine like siren drills.
And it's currently the only song off the tape that's on streaming. At this time, Eminem was cooking and washing dishes for minimum wage at Gilbert's Lodge, a family-style restaurant in St. Clair Shores. His former boss described him as becoming a model employee as he worked 60 hours a week for 6 months after Haley was born. But he was fired shortly before Christmas and later said, and I quote, "It was like 5 days before Christmas, which is Haley's birthday. I had like $40 to get her something," and eventually had to live in his mother's mobile home with Kim and Haley. Detroit DJs at the time were really ignoring Infinite, and the feedback that Eminem was getting was quote-unquote, "Why don't you just go into rock and roll?" which led him to make angrier, moodier tracks, and thus the Slim Shady persona would begin to form. He started to really make some serious moves after he connected with his manager, Paul Rosenburg. Paul would then move to New York to be a lawyer, but M stayed in touch with him and eventually sent him a demo tape. It was kind of like the skeleton of what would eventually become the Slim Shady EP. Paul heard the tape and he thought it was way better than everything he made for Infinite.
I lace tunes is out this world like space moons, with a bunch of crazy moons, dismissing brains like raised moons. If I had a magic wand, I make the world suck my without a condom on while I'm on the John. Slim Shady, brain dead like Jim Brady. I'm a M80, you little like that Kim lady. There goes mama splashing in the water. No more fighting with dad, no more restraining order.
Paul got so excited that he went outside to a payphone in Manhattan and called M in Detroit and asked him if he could be his lawyer to start shopping his stuff around. M already had a manager at the time, but they had a falling out over a Whopper from Burger King. The dude went to get food knowing M had no money and didn't ask if he wanted anything. Yeah, that's how it went down. During this time in '97, he started to go to bigger and bigger battles. In one battle in Ohio, he ended up losing to a guy named Juice.
You came from the Windy City because you about to get blown away.
He then went back to Detroit depressed as hell and broke, and he started writing the original version of a song called Rock Bottom, which would end up on the Slim Shady LP eventually. But during that session, him and Mark Bass found a dude that they thought was gonna get him a deal at Jive Records, just to find out basically he had no motion and couldn't make that happen. M at this point was so depressed that he ended up swallowing a handful of Tylenol 3s, and his mind frame was, whatever, I'm gonna finish this song and it'll be the last song I ever make.
Got my ass hyper, I pray to God answers, maybe I'll last nicer.
But thankfully his body just wasn't having it, and he ended up throwing it all up. Then he ended up going to LA for the Rap Olympics, where the prize was $500 and a Rolex, which M doubts was real, but shit, that $500 was definitely real.
So who you sound like on the mic? There was only one Tupac, your thug style, just one big sight. Take a big hike, bitch you tap me. Your best rhyme still ain't shit like a patsy. What the fuck you wanna do? I battle anybody in your crew, and I don't give a fuck. I slaughter boys, especially whack-ass MCs who will wear fake-ass corduroys. I don't give a damn.
Long story short, M ended up losing to someone who wasn't even that good in his opinion. Now he's deflated, defeated, and on his way out, someone from Interscope actually walked up to him and asked him for his demo tape. That someone wasn't just anyone though. It was a man named Dean Geislinger, who was interning for Jimmy Iovine at the time. And for those of you who don't know who Jimmy Iovine is, well, he's a record executive and co-founder of Interscope Records. But little did M know, this interaction that he brushed off would literally change his life forever. Dean gave the tape to Jimmy, who Jimmy would then give it to Dr. Dre.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
So he says. See, the real story from doing my research is this. So Dean likes to take credit for discovering M, but this is what really went down. Alright, so bear with me, because this is kind of a long story, but hear me out, gang. So there's a man by the name of Evan Bogart, who was Dean's best friend at the time, who started interning for Interscope in 1994. And after trying to shop his demo around, yes, he was trying to be a rapper himself, but it didn't work out. So he decided to stick to the business side of things and ended up in the mailroom of Interscope in the summer of 1996. And he truly wanted to be an A&R and made sure that he was at every show he could possibly attend to scout new talent. At Interscope, he was one of the only people who truly had a passion for hip-hop. And Interscope was working on Tupac's first posthumous album at the time, and they had him A&R it. And as he's working on it, he gets a phone call from a DJ named DJ Cassidy and said, yo, what you doing right now, bruh? He's like, I'm kinda busy working on this album, why, what's up? DJ Cassidy goes, nah, you gotta leave right now. I'm DJing for this freestyle battle in Inglewood. You gotta come see this kid. And Evan was nervous because he was in charge of the Tupac songs in that vault, and he ended up just leaving to go watch Eminem during these Rap Olympics. He was mind blown from watching this performance, so he ended up calling his two friends, and one of them was his best friend at the time, Dean Geislinger, who ended up showing up a few hours later. So after the show, Evan saw Eminem pace back and forth, upset, tearing up. He introduced himself and said, hey, I'm an A&R at Interscope. Can I get one of your demos? His manager, who was still the Burger King dude who I mentioned before, gave Evan the demo tape for the Slim Shady EP. On the way home, he popped the cassette in the car along with Dean and his other friend, and he said that their jaws were on the ground. Never heard anything like that. He immediately made copies of it for the people over at Interscope, and legit for 5 months, he was ignored and made fun of for trying to show that to everyone. Every A&R passed on it. Evan is like, bruh, you guys are crazy. This guy's gonna blow up. And at this point, there were rumors that Live Records were interested in signing him too. So one day, Evan got a phone call saying that M is coming to town, and if they could get a meeting with Interscope. Evan took that information and took it to Tom Whalley's office, who was head executive A&R for Interscope at the time, and he was basically told no. So in a last-ditch effort, he went to Jimmy Iovine's office with the cassette, and guess who was sitting at the desk? His best friend Dean. So he tells Dean, yo bro, put this cassette in Jimmy's bag. Dean is now concerned because he doesn't want to get fired. But Evan was like, listen, if you get in trouble, just say it was from me. And not too long after, he speaks with Dean on the phone, and Dean is like, yo, Dr. Dre and Jimmy heard the tape. Is Eminem in town? Evan was like, yeah. So Dean goes, all right, let's set up a meeting. Evan's like, bet, I'll make it happen. Let me connect you. So Evan connected them with M's people to set up a meeting. Eminem came in and they struck a deal. See, the thing is, Evan was busy working on that Tupac album the day that they had that meeting. And Dean was the one in that meeting with everybody. So this is where things get kind of sticky. Evan asked Dean on the phone like, hold up, you told him I was the one who brought Eminem in, right? And Dean goes, of course I did. But Dean ended up telling them that he himself brought M in. And Evan didn't know this for 2 weeks, while everyone is thinking that Dean was the one that brought M in. People at the label kept coming up to Evan like, bro, you know Dean is taking all the credit, right? So yeah, this is what ended their friendship. And Evan eventually couldn't take it anymore and ended up leaving Interscope.
In an official capacity, I went and had lunch with him. And I was out with him and I was like, why'd you do that, man? And he was like, because I was there the night that you discovered him and I thought that you should have said we both found him. And I said, yeah, but I invited you and I'm the one who did all the legwork for like 6 months. And he was just like, I just think differently. I think you should have said we both brought it in. So since you didn't, I decided to take all the credit.
Now, we can't have an Eminem documentary and not talk about D12. Officially formed in 1996, which consisted of members Proof, Bizarre, Con Artist, Conniva, Bugs, who was originally part of the group, but he tragically passed in 1999. But before he passed, he told the crew that he wanted Swifty McVeigh in D12, so he would eventually join the group. And then eventually down the line, Fuzz Scooter would join from 2011 to 2014. And of course, Eminem. The original plan though was for them to have 12 people in the group, the best MCs from Detroit, and have their own version of Wu-Tang Clan. This was all Proof's idea, and originally he wanted the group to be called the Dirty Dozen. Then Proof came up with the idea that each person should have their own sort of alter ego. This was one of the places where Proof played such a huge role in M's life, because this is where the Slim Shady character came from. The name quote-unquote Slim Shady literally came to M when he was taking a dump. Random fact that I feel like you just had to know. You feel me? M said another concept that Proof had was that all of them were supposed to rhyme about the illest, craziest, most ridiculous things possible. Like the most outlandish things you can rap about that would definitely get you instantly canceled today. So with that concept in mind, M didn't want to just say crazy things for the sake of just shock value. Nah, he wanted to add his lyrical skills on top of that. They would drop their first piece of material as a group with a project called the Underground EP, which originally made its waves via bootleg CDs. So people just called it a mixtape.
You a fan of rap, my clan attack your school home, your bitch house. Pull my 9 milli, you gon' die with your fist out. We make niggas pass out like flyers, flossing my teeth with barbed wire. Majestic warrior, the rap to win. I bring here and slap a chin of the aggressor. Who got dollars, shot callers with guns and Rottweilers.
Which brings us to the first time he ever performed as Slim Shady in 1997. It was called The Fat House in Detroit. He was just rapping, but it was different this time. He was rapping with some sort of humor to it, some sort of flair, and he would deliver his words in a higher pitched style. The different voice we would all come to recognize. It's really what made M stand out. Of course, besides him being white and the insane wordplay, but you get what I mean. M doesn't even remember how he came up with that voice either. It was probably just him imitating a friend or making fun of them, and he just started rapping like that. 97 was really the year that would change a lot of things for M. His popularity kept rising, and especially the opportunities kept growing.
Go to bed with the keg, wake up with the 40, mixed it with Alka-Seltzer and Formula 44D. Forget an acetab, I strapped the whole sheet to my forehead. Waited till it absorbed in and fell to the floor dead. No more said, case closed in a discussion. We blowing up like spontaneous human combustion. Leaving you in the aftermath of Holocaust and traumas. Cross the bombers, we blowing up your house, killing your parents, coming back to get your foster mamas. And I'm as good at keeping the promises Nostradamus, cause I ain't making no more threats. I'm doing drive-bys and tinted Corvettes on Vietnam war vets. I'm more or less sick in the head. Maybe more cause I smoked crack today, yesterday, and the day before. Saboteur, walk the block with a Labrador. Strapped with more corral for war than El Salvador. Foul style galore, verbal cow manure. Coming together like an eyebrow, and I'll be sure. This little girl about to get her arm rubbed. Who wanna see me on this mixing board? Who wanna see me? I'm the diction lord. And I be kicking towards a camera looking right in it. I can kick 20 dope rhymes in 1 minute. And y'all don't understand cause my rhymes are infinite. What the Farm Club? It's the chicken Farm Club. It's the chicken Farm Club. Is this shit that we're saying gonna be bleeped out? I don't know, but if it is, then it's like it. And I will kick a rhyme until it stops and it. What? It's the Farm Club. What?
Now it's 1998, and you gotta remember, this is before smartphones and all the crazy technology we got today. Of course, the internet did exist, but it wasn't as prevalent as it is today, of course. So the way people really got put on to new artists at the time were through word of mouth, live shows, TV to see the hottest new music video, the radio, and of course, magazines. And speaking of magazines, The Source in the late 90s was the highest selling magazine on newsstands in all of America, even being dubbed the Bible of hip hop. So shout out to Riggs Morales, who was working for Source magazine at the time and would write for the unsigned hype section of the magazine. And in the month of March in 98, he would feature Eminem. This was huge for any artist really, as hundreds of thousands of people were just now getting put on to Eminem for the first time with this one article. That same month that this magazine hit the shelves, Eminem would officially sign to Dr. Dre's Aftermath Entertainment. This marked a pivotal moment in both artists' careers and forever changed the course of hip-hop. Dr. Dre's mentorship and support were instrumental in launching Eminem's major label career.
I definitely think that me being in the unsigned hype column fueled my record deal. Because Dre didn't hear about me through the unsigned hype column, but it helped create the buzz and generate the buzz. When Dre got my tape, it helped that I wasn't just like, just a no name off the street, you know what I mean? Through the underground, people knew my name, and I think that helped maybe sell Dre a little more on the idea too, you know what I mean? So me being in the column definitely fueled, you know what I'm saying? Me getting to where I'm at even today.
With Dr. Dre famously saying in an interview, and I quote, "When I heard M for the first time, I didn't even know he was white. I just knew I wanted to work with him. And that kind of actually made it better for me because it was so different." Now, as popular as Dr. Dre was and is, it's hard to vision him not being praised for his work. But at this point in time, up until M signed to him, for a few years, Dr. Dre was in his lowest point of his career. The talk of the town was that, oh, Dre's washed. He don't got it no more. Only got one good album. And he had recently just left Death Row 2 years prior to do his own thing. And after releasing 2 compilation albums that received poor to mixed reviews, and that album with The Firm, mostly produced by Dre, didn't do too hot either. So he was in a real gray area in his career, not really knowing what was next for him. So that's when Eminem came along and everything changed for the both of them.
I was reaching a boiling point, man. I was getting into a lot of drugs and doing a lot of stuff because I was so depressed, you know what I'm saying? So, that's why I say, when I say Dre saved my life, I mean literally saved my life, so I feel like I owe him a lot.
So like I said before, the year is 1998.
If they don't like the track, up them. The rap struck them harder than getting hit by a Mack truck and then backed up on. And any half-ass known rapper that trespass better be ready for the second celebrity death match. So tell the medic to bring the medication in quickly. I'm sicker than a Tupac dedication to Biggie. I'm free falling feet first out of a damn tree to stampede your chest till you can't breathe.
This is what the landscape of hip-hop was looking like at the time. I know. Classics. And the Slim Shady EP was making its waves through the underground. And now that M was signed, it was time to get a real major push from the industry. This is where the song Just Don't Give a F would begin to get its major push, since the song was already out but generating some real buzz. Considered to be his debut single, it officially released on October of 1998, and it would end up charting the following month at number 5 on the US hip hop Billboard charts. And yo, it's crazy because I'm not gonna lie, I'm here just looking up the shows he was doing back in 98, and I wish I could see footage of a lot of these. I just can't seem to find them. But yo, look at this show in particular. Big Pun, De La Soul, Common, and Eminem. Insane lineup. Or this one with Royce da 5'9". They've been cool with each other for so long, it's wild. So yeah, Eminem at this point was really building his name up more and more by the day. Which leads us into the following year where Eminem would become a global, and I mean global, phenomenon.
Hi, my name is what?
My name is Slim Shady.
Alright, y'all, back here live on the Rap City thing. I'm looking for my man. My man is not. Ow! Ow! Cut the cameras, man. Come on, dog. Come on, y'all. Hey! Ladies and gentlemen. Take him out. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Eminem. Y'all give it up for Eminem. What's up, dog? What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. Then my hands are bleeding and my face is bleeding and I'm all scraped up from the pavement. But other than that, it's very cold out here and I'm fantastic.
Your proof used to come walking up right up the street and be like, yo, what up, Em? How you doing? I used to be like, yeah, man, it's good to see you, dog, but my life's ruined. Because my mom just left. She left my brother Nate, and I hate the fact that we never had no food on our plate.
When did you start talking like a black guy? Like when you grew up there?
I don't know.
Because I used to talk the way you're talking, because I grew up in Roosevelt, which is, and I used to be like, yo, what's up, man? You know, come on, man, don't take my pants.
Honestly, a lot of people tell me, like, you speak with an accent, whatever, but I don't see it. I do not see it unless I...
Word.
Well, you know how to not do it.
Come on, man.
Come on, you know how to speak, white man. Yo, man.
When I see myself on TV or like later, like when I hear myself back,
I hear you.
You know,
I know what you say. You know what I'm saying?
You're busting my balls here, Howard.
You know what I'm saying?
Come on, man.
All right, so
when I hear myself back, then I'm like, oh, I do speak with a little.
You sound like a black guy.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think I sound like me.
I'm a little shroomed out, acided out, weeded out, and every other drug you can think of. I'm Mourning. But I don't promote drugs, all right? Don't try this at home.
So we're here in the Metropolitan Opera House in Lincoln Center. You're a performer. You're a nominee.
Right.
Multiple nominee.
Right.
Would you have even dreamt of this a year ago?
A year ago? A day ago, no.
Yeah.
You know, so of course not a year ago.
I'm just trying to do my thing. I'm trying to represent where I come from, where I grew up at, the type of lifestyle that I led, you know what I mean, growing up, and just be myself and share my point of view with the world. And I feel like a lot of people are going to relate to what I'm saying because whether white, black, whatever nationality you are, you know, there's a lot of poor people, there's a lot of lower class people in America that can feel where I'm coming from.
Hi. Can you just give me a minute? My ass didn't show on camera, did it? Okay, if it didn't, here.
Ghetto videos. You only gonna get it here.
What's the deals? What's the deals?
Tell them the name of the album.
Name of my album is my ass. Name of my album is the Slim Shady LP. It comes out, when's it come out? I don't even know.
1999 was a crazy time for M. The media just couldn't handle how controversial he truly was. This is the year where he truly became a superstar and put the world on notice.
The limousine is here. Eminem is getting out of his car.
He has got a tight outfit this evening, Eminem.
And he's warm with that wool hat.
Would you like to stand?
Hey, how you doing?
Hello, I'm good.
You're doing. He's doing, Chris.
Are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing.
Are you doing the Hip Hop Award?
Am I what?
Are you excited about the Hip Hop nomination?
I'm nominated?
That's okay.
Are you excited about standing here at the top of the red carpet?
All right, I guess I'm nominated for something.
Yeah,
okay.
And you are standing here.
I'm standing here.
You've got a good bottle of water here with you this evening.
Yes, I do.
You know, it's protocol here in Dublin only to drink dark beer.
Only to drink dark beer?
Yeah.
I'd rather have my water.
M claimed that this was the year where everything went bananas for him in his life. He was doing so many shows back then that it felt like he was killing himself. And there was a lot of drinking involved too. He said he was never a full throttle drinker, but once he got on tour, it all just got too crazy. Sometimes he'd be waiting to perform and there would be some liquor around and he'd just start drinking it. Next thing he knows, he's on stage performing. And even after the show was done, they'd go off stage and drink even more. Sometimes even doing 2 or 3 shows a day. To be honest, nowadays, you just don't see that anymore, and I can understand why. But before we get into any type of tour, let's talk about what that tour was even for. The Slim Shady LP.
My name is
I'm only throwing back at people what people have thrown at me all my life. All I've done is take shit, you know what I mean? And now I'm going to start dishing it out. And if people don't like it, they got a problem with it. Fuck them. That's the way I feel.
My name is...
He's just starting. He hasn't even came out there yet, you know what I'm saying? And this, everybody that's hearing it is already like, who is that?
A young man by the name Eminem.
Eminem is dope. Dre got a hot white MC coming out. This kid Eminem, real hot.
Forget a chorus. My metaphors are so complicated it takes 6 minutes to get applause. And by the time you all catch on, I'ma end your career and walk away with the floors. You have nothing to fall back on. If I offend you, you know, I'm not apologizing for it. If you get offended, then that's life.
I don't give a damn. Dre sent me to take the world off.
This is the result of a lot of acid.
Cut! Eminem's on drugs. Eminem is me, sitting right here. And Slim Shady is me sitting right here too. Only Slim Shady is me when I get pissed off, so to speak. You know what I mean? It's kind of like an alter ego type thing. You see somebody on the road, you're driving, you see somebody on the road, and they cut you off. And all of a sudden you just bam! You start screaming at them. F you, what the f are you doing? You start honking at them, flipping them off. F you. You know what I'm saying? That's Slim Shady.
The impact that Eminem had during this time was the embodiment of what pop culture was at the time, man. Everything was a lot less politically correct. Things were just grimier, edgier, grittier, and a lot less soft to how society is today. I mean, shows like South Park.
And all because she's a big, fat, stupid bitch. Don't say it, Cartman.
I don't know, the Attitude Era. Was running wild during this time. Cancel culture, whatever you want to call it, didn't really exist back then. I mean, it did, but it isn't like how it is today. So I say all that to say, his music just blended in so perfectly with how society was at the time. And clearly it was working, because every day people were finding out more and more about who this quote-unquote white rapper named Eminem was.
Hi guys, I'm hanging out in this tub filled with M&Ms to show that I can't get enough of Eminem.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
So you guys can come pick me up. I'll be hanging out in this same spot. Wait until Eminem comes and gets me, because I want to meet my #1 dog, Eminem.
Are you serious right now, bro?
I've never gotten into any music like I've gotten into Eminem's lyrics. Like, once I started listening to him, I couldn't stop.
This is where Eminem spent most of his time.
This is the phone Eminem touched. This is where he stood, right? Like this. Oh, God.
Wow.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm Sherry.
How are you?
I'm on. I actually went to the place, the burger joint, and I don't know if that's the same pizza place. What's the pizza place that you worked at?
Gilbert's.
Yeah, that's where we went. That's
Get
where
out
we
of
went.
here.
It was so cool. Wow. It was so cool. And I got to bust tables. I did everything just to pretend I was you for a day. It was awesome. And he was like, the owner's like, yeah, this is where he spent most of his time, on the phone.
This is where Eminem spent most of his time.
No, I did not spend most of my time on the phone. That was the worst one I ever got fired from, because I worked there for like three years. And they fired me right before Christmas.
M's moment where he was like, holy shit, I'm actually becoming famous, was when he had a show in January of 1999 in New York City. The spot was called Tramps. It was a nightclub on 21st Street in Manhattan with a capacity of 300 people. M says he remembers this day like it was yesterday. He recalls Paul Rosenburg coming downstairs and he was like, bruh, we're sold out. And that people were literally squeezing through the doors to get in. Just look at this ticket, bro. $15. And the crazy thing is, I'm just now finding out that MF Doom opened up for him. Bruh. RIP MF Doom, man. Talk about legendary. And fast forward a month, the Slim Shady LP would officially drop on February 23rd, 1999. And sold 283,000 copies first week, debuting at number 2 on the Billboard charts behind TLC's album Fan Mail. The album remained on the Billboard 200 for 100 weeks. Literally just 2 months later, the album was already certified platinum.
Don't do drugs. I'm cancerous, so when I did, she wouldn't want to answer this if you responded back with a battle rap you wrote for cannabis. That's nonsense. Go in, gaff for the money and run to one of your aunt's crib. These are the results of 1,000 electric volts, a neck with bolts. Tired of always giving in when this bottle of Henny wins. Tired of never having any ends. Now I know what you're thinking, it's kinda late to go swimming, but you know your mama, she's one of those type of women. But now you're sitting in the corner crying, and now it's my fault, my fault. Feel like I'm walking a tightrope without a circus net. Popping Percocet, I'm a nervous wreck.
The album is a certified classic, with Rolling Stone putting it in the top 500 albums of all time. I actually found a review that was written back in March of '99. He had a lot to say, so if you want, you could pause the video and read it. I just find it interesting getting someone's perspective of the project back then. You know what I mean? But I did find the last couple things he said interesting, and he says, bottom line, it's funny, at least to me. The easily offended shouldn't buy this album. And musically, it's better than I expected, although far short of perfection. But as a whole, this album is definitely worth the $11.88 purchase price and gave it a 7.5 out of 10. Man, I can literally be here showing you guys every single song, but you get the point. The album is phenomenal. The single My Name Is was such a groundbreaking smash hit song that it legit changed his whole trajectory in the rap game, easily.
My name is Slim Shady.
Alright, here he is. No longer Detroit's dirty little secret, Eminem.
They're picking it up, and that's how it's gonna be. That's how it's #1 on Billboard. Because it's really not pop music. It's just hip hop music, but it's promoted perfectly. My Name is all hook, and the rest of the album is all rhymes.
I think it's gonna change hip hop. He's a Detroit boy. Love that.
So only one item can get signed.
I don't know, it seemed like as soon as I stopped giving about what I was saying, people started giving a f. It was like a reverse effect. Like, f you, I don't care if you like me or not. Oh, well, we like you now.
Back about 13 years ago or so, 10 years ago, I was driving in the car with the top down, and I was listening to the radio, and this guy here was on the radio. He was rapping, he sounded great.
He was rapping and singing and dancing and frolicking about in the muddy playgrounds of the South Fields of Southfield, Michigan.
Exactly.
I always thought, like, you rap, you wear a gold chain, you get the bitches, and then that's it.
And the cars.
And the cars, and you drive, and you got a fat crib. That's all I thought.
Yeah.
And then I realized all of the work, the effort that goes into it and shit. It's
and
like,
then afterwards.
It's 24/7. It's a
Afterwards,
non-stop job. At least when people work regular jobs, they get days off and shit.
Right.
Interestingly enough though, this is where the controversy started to unfold for M, and Dr. Dre had warned him too before the album dropped that, yo, a shitstorm is coming, just prepare for it. And M was like, how bad could it really be? I mean, it's Dr. Dre, NWA, you know what I mean? There was a point where the album was pretty much done, mixed and mastered and everything, and M recalls before the album releasing that Interscope was thinking about dropping him from the label because they felt that the album was too controversial. The Bass brothers were telling him on the phone about this, a payphone by the way, since he lived in a trailer at this point in time. So there was some lines in the song My Name Is that Jimmy Iovine just was not happy with. So M got on a plane right away with Dre and had a meeting with them, and M was throwing a fit, basically telling him like, yo, isn't the parental advisory sticker on the cover? We should be good. But he ended up changing some of the lines in the new version that would eventually release to the public. These were the lines in the original, switched to the new version.
My English teacher wanted to have in junior high. The only problem was my English teacher was a guy. My English teacher wanted to flunk me in junior high. Thanks a lot. Next semester I'll be 35. Extraterrestrial, killing pedestrians, lesbians while they screaming. Extraterrestrial, running over pedestrians in a spaceship while they screaming at me.
Lastly, I'll say this about My Name Is, and it's pretty important. The main sample they used for My Name Is was originally written by the British musician Labi Siffre, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, on the song called I Got The, back in 1975. He's an openly gay man who was not going to clear that sample if Eminem didn't change the bars on that song. He didn't like how he depicted gay people on the track. Crazy thing about all of this too though, Eminem doesn't make a single penny off of the writing on My Name Is. Labi owns all of the publishing for it. But hey, M looks at it this way, where would his career even be at today if that song never came out? So it was definitely a fair trade. That's kind of what sparked the whole gay controversy for M too, a lot of people felt like he was homophobic when he was really just trying to be funny.
We're here to express our basically our disgust with an individual who's been provided a platform to sing and perpetrate about hate and about violence.
Do you think you're homophobic?
I might have used the gay word or something on the first album, and then critics started coming out saying that I was homophobic. So I was like, at first I was kind of like, well, I'm not, but if they think I am, then f it, then I'm gonna be homophobic. I'm whatever you think of me, that's what I'm gonna be.
What's it like working with Dr. Dre? Well, I'll tell you what, it sucks, and I want my money back. Tips on how to piss the world off. Say the truth that people don't like to hear. You can't handle the truth.
M and Paul Rosenburg would end up founding the record label Shady Records in '99 as well. The song Forgot About Dre, iconic track, came out this year too.
Nowadays, everybody wanna talk like they got something to say, but nothing comes out when they move their lips.
Along with the album 2001. And originally, Eminem's lyrics were supposed to be performed by Snoop Dogg. M wrote the lyrics, then recorded himself performing them as reference vocals for Snoop. Dre liked it so much that he kept Eminem's version in. Smart move if you ask me. And he was also in the Still Dre music video.
Signed Eminem, he's triple platinum, doing 50 a week still.
Which years later, Eminem didn't even remember.
Wasn't you on the beach running on that video?
Was I in that video? I was? Why the f*** do I not remember?
Damn near no clothes on.
What the f***? Yo, you gotta show me that.
You was Slim Shady, cuz. You was like crazy back then. Like real crazy.
So yeah, 1999 really was the beginning of a new life for M. And he just dove headfirst into a major headlining tour with his Slim Shady LP tour. Oh yeah, can't forget to mention that Eminem's own mom sued her son. His mom was living a nightmare in '99, struggling to pay the bills, and still living in poverty. Bro, just think about it. Eminem was everywhere at this point. Every single magazine, every TV, on the radio, you name it. So conveniently, before she was about to file for bankruptcy, 6 months after the Slim Shady LP was released, she decided to whip out the yellow pages and called the first lawyer she could contact, Fred Gibson, and sued her son for $10 million for defamation. On the song My Name Is, M says, and I quote, 99% of my life I was lied to. I just found out my mom does more dope than I do. I told her I'd grow up to be a famous rapper, make a record about doing drugs and name it after her. She stated in the lawsuit that there were various forms of emotional distress, including diminished self-esteem, humiliation, sleepless nights, harm to her credit rating, and even loss of her mobile home. In hearing about this lawsuit, M ended up calling her in a rage, but in the public eye, he kind of expected this would happen, even saying in an interview, "My mom is a lawsuit queen. All her life she's sued people. That's how she makes money. When I was 5, she had a job on the cash register at a store that sold chips and soda. Other than that, I don't remember her working a day in her life." And we'll get more in depth with Eminem's next album, but on a song called Marshall Mathers, he went in, doubling down like crazy. And he said, "My fucking mom sued me for $10 million. She must want $1 for every pill I've been stealing. Where the f you think I picked up the habit? All I had to do was go in her room and lift up her mattress. Which is it, bitch? Mrs. Briggs or Miss Mathers? It doesn't matter. Your attorney Fred Gibson's a faggot." This shit is crazy. Talking about I fabricated my past. He's just aggravated I won't ejaculate in his ass. So tell me, what the hell is a fella to do? For every million I make, another relative sues. Bruh, that's crazy. The funniest thing ever though was Debbie's response to all this. She ended up making a quote-unquote diss track, but it's just a 3.5-minute song of her talking.
Even when I was pregnant with you, it was very hard for me.
11 months after the lawsuit started, the lawsuit went from 10 million down to 2. And in another attempt at a cash grab, if we're being honest, she ended up making a book called My Son Marshall, My Son Eminem, setting the record straight. All M wanted at this point was for the lawsuit to be dropped, even calling her telling her that. And Debbie then admitted saying, quote, "I didn't mean to sue my son for defamation. I just wanted to stop my home from being repossessed and clear up the financial problems that had been caused." Long story short, 2 years after the lawsuit started, after all that, Debbie only ended up with $25,000. And funny enough, $23,345 had to be paid in lawyer fees. So she basically only ended up with enough to pay the rent for the month. So yeah, you thought 99 was crazy. Now we in a whole new millennium. Times were just so different back then. Pop culture was at an all-time high in 2000. Movies like, I don't know, Gladiator, X-Men, Final Destination, the frickin' PS2 came out. I was in what, first grade? And I just remember Britney Spears being the biggest thing ever. And as I'm making this documentary, I do wish I was a teenager during these times, but it is what it is. I was alive for it at least. But I do remember vaguely the real Slim Shady being all over the radio.
And Dr. Dre said, "Nothing, you idiots. Dr. Dre's dead. He's locked in my basement."
It was the lead single to his next studio album, the Marshall Mathers LP. One of the greatest hip-hop, not even just hip-hop, one of the greatest albums of all time. A month before the album would release, he would drop a tape called the Marshall Mathers LP Snippet Tape, including a lot of funny skits and a couple freestyles.
Eyes hazel, complexion beige, age still in question. Critics hate my tape, kids can't wait for the next one. The strangest things can happen, from jabbing pregnant women in the abdomen so they can't have children.
And basically that's about it. If you like what you in here, go buy the album. And if you don't, guess what? I don't give a Hey, how about that?
In this year's Grammy Awards ceremony, Eminem actually won 2 Grammys. One for Best Rap Song for My Name Is, and Best Rap Album with the Slim Shady LP.
Grammy goes to... Whoa! Mr. Controversy, Eminem! Yes!
M at the time was like, I'm not going to that. He didn't like how there was a separation between Best Album and Best Rap Album category. Why not just Best Album? He thought, who even votes for this crap? He'd much rather go to MTV or BET and get an award from there, because it's coming from fans who are actually buying the music. The Marshall Mathers LP, which was originally going to be titled Amsterdam according to Eminem, since he wrote like 4 songs in 2 days when he was out there, but the more he wrote the songs, the more personal they got, so he ended up naming it after himself. At that point in time, some label executives speculated that Eminem would be the first artist to sell 1 million copies in an album's first week of release, and these expectations put a huge burden on Eminem's shoulders, where he once said, "I was scared to death. I wanted to be successful, but before anything, I want respect." And after the album was finished, the executives felt like there were no songs that had potential to be a lead single. Feeling pressured, M returned to the studio and wrote The Way I Am, as his way of saying, look, this is the best I can do. I can't give you another My Name Is. I can't just sit in there and make that magic happen. However, after the song was added to the album, M just got the urge to write another song, and gave a hook to Dr. Dre for him to create a beat, and went home to write new lyrics. The song eventually became The Real Slim Shady, and the album would end up releasing on May 23rd, 2000, crushing the expectations of the label, selling 1.78 million copies in its first week.
Just a chat, truly yours, your biggest fan, this is Stan. I sit back with this pack of zigzags and this bag of this weed, it gets me. Y'all act like you never seen a white person before. Jaws all on the floor like Pam, like Tommy just burst in the door. Then I got a little bit older and I realized she was the crazy one. His instincts to kill in sync, don't get me started. These brats can't sing and Britney's garbage. My words are like a dagger with a jagged edge. It'll stab you in the head, whether you're a fag or les. Are you out your mind? This couch, this TV, this whole house is mine.
A month after its release, the album had already sold 3.5 million copies. The album spent 8 weeks at number 1 on the Billboard 200, and by the end of the year 2000, it sold a total of 8.5 million copies.
Hey, that's pretty good.
So yeah, it's safe to say that this album sold pretty well, if you ask me. And one of Eminem's biggest moments of his career was when he performed at the Radio City Music Hall in New York for the MTV Awards, an extremely legendary performance. and just such a time capsule when you look back at it.
I just feel really good to be here. This is the one night where you can fit all these people that I don't like into one room. So I think I'm gonna have a good time.
And they're gonna be close to you too, right?
Yeah, very close.
Exactly.
So close I can almost reach out and touch them.
Will the real Slim Shady please stand up? It's the return of the, oh wait, no way, you're kidding. Yeah, I probably got a couple of screws up in my head loose. Prince Smith about a cuss in his rap to sell records. You think I give a damn about a Grammy? Hear him argue over who she gave to first. He's a Justin Martelli, so won't the real Slim Shady? If I wasn't, then why would I say I am? I don't know, this is the way I am.
That night, Eminem recalls being super nervous and tried his best to keep his cool and composure after seeing 100 of himself, pretty much. And the fact that he was gonna be live on TV too. That was one of those moments where he was thinking, hey, I think I've made it in rap. I'm a big time rapper.
Look, man, I was gonna give ICP some fame. Too dope and silent. I was gonna give them some fame. I was gonna fucking bring them out and let them, you know what I'm saying? They ain't never played in no arena like this fucking big. They ain't never did no this big before. You know what I'm saying?
The first time I met him in 1997 or maybe 1998, we walked into St. Andrew's Hall and he came up to us with a flyer and he said, "What's up?" He came up to us and he had a kid with him or whatever and he was like, "What's up?" You know? And I was like, "What's up?" And he was like, "I'm Eminem." And he gave me a flyer. And it said Eminem record release party or some kind of party for his EP or something, you know what I mean? I don't know what it was. And then it said on the flyer, it said special guests in the house. And it said ICP. And then underneath it, it said maybe. And it said Esham, maybe. And then I looked at it and I had my name and I said, how you gonna put ICP on this fucking flyer when, you know what I'm saying, when you don't even know if we're gonna be there? And then put maybe like that. And then he said, well, I'm asking you now. You know what I'm saying? You want to come show up? And I was like, hell no, man. What the fuck? And I was like, man, don't be putting our name on that shit. And I walked away.
For those of you who are unfamiliar with ICP, aka Insane Clown Posse, with members Shaggy 2 Dope and Violent J, they're a hip-hop / horrorcore duo from Delray, Detroit, Michigan. And they've been around for quite some time, almost a decade before Eminem even became mainstream. And they're also famous for spraying soda, specifically Faygo, into the crowd at their shows. But yeah, why am I mentioning all this? Well, they had a little bit of a feud going on for some years, and it all started over a flyer. So M wanted to do a release party / live show for his EP, the Slim Shady EP. So he ended up making some flyers and had a quote-unquote special guest list where they'd list a bunch of artists who are quote-unquote invited to try to trick people into thinking they'll be there, even though the artists have no way of knowing that. So Violent J, who was with another rapper at the time named Misery, went to St. Andrew's Hall that night. Eminem then approached Jay and handed him the flyer, and it had ICP on there with the word maybe next to it. As well as another Detroit rapper named Esham on it with maybe next to it as well. So he didn't like the fact that Eminem did that and was like, F out of here, why would you even do that? We didn't even know about this. Jay said that Eminem explained, quote, it says maybe you will be there, I don't know. That's why I'm asking you right now. You guys coming to my release party or what? With Jay responding, no, I ain't going to your party. We might have if you would have asked us first before putting us on the flyer like this, and handed it back to M and walked away. Eminem didn't take that very lightly, because clearly he was a fan. At around the same time as this in 97, despite putting their name on his flyer, M was featured on an underground track that contained a few disses to ICP called Drastic Measures.
ICP is overrated and hated for the false identity created.
At the time, the disses went basically unnoticed because nobody cared about him. But this would later change.
Fuck ICP, buy my CD.
As for ICP, they made a track called Slim Anus in 2000.
My name is Can I have the attention of your ass? My name is the butt sniffer.
And apparently there was a radio station that played the song to Eminem live on air. And he got really pissed. He reportedly pulled a gun on one of ICP's homies. And so ICP wrote another diss. This time the song was called Nothing But a Bitch Thing.
Out when they move the lips, it's just a bunch of gibberish and motherfuckers act like Eminem ain't gay.
On the song Marshall Mathers, Eminem completely destroys ICP, bro.
Plus I was put here to put fear in to spray Faygo root beer and call themselves clowns cause they look queer.
Wow.
Too dope and silent gay, claiming Detroit when y'all live 20 miles away.
Oh my God! Wow!
Slim Anus, you damn right Slim Anus. I don't get in mine like you two little flaming fat.
Damn!
There were a few more smaller disses between the two before eventually Proof, who knew ICP and was cool with just about everyone and deeply beloved in Detroit, squashed the beef not long before his death, which we'll eventually get into later on in this video. Since then, the beef is well and truly over.
Yeah, problem with Eminem. I can't make.
We don't got one no more. That's old.
M even shouted ICP out on the track Wicked Ways, where he called himself a combination of Tyler the Creator and Violent J.
I'm a combination of Tyler, Great Tyler, the Creator, and Violent J. Paint my face with clown makeup and a smiley face. I'm insane.
Shout out to them though, because they're still around to this day. Crazy enough, they were actually at the Summer Smash Festival in Chicago this year, in which I actually attended their set. It was pretty dope.
Come on, come on.
I saw a post on Reddit though that said that this was the flyer for the show, which by the way, $3 entry, free wings, and $1 beers? Bro, this seems way too good to be true even for the 90s. Like for real. Even a signed poster when you walked in. Crazy. But then I saw this on TikTok where ICP says that this was not the flyer they saw back then.
This is dope, and I'm not sure where this is from or what this is. But the flyer that we saw that night was, it only had 3 names on it the way I remember it. And it was Esham, Kid Rock, and ICP. One of his boys gave it to us, I believe, and then he came up shortly after. And we didn't look at the fine print on the back. Yeah, all this, you know, up in the club. We were out clubbing. We didn't look at all that fine print. We were just like, we just seen the flyer and our name was right there on the bottom, you know.
Bottom line is this.
And it said invited guest. It just said invite. Anyway.
Bottom line is this. In 1997 Detroit, didn't nobody have a flyer this dope. You know what I'm saying? Nobody. I never saw this flyer. I'm going to call it possibly.
Yeah, they might have, but yeah.
I never seen it.
I don't remember that being the
We
one.
would have remembered a sweet ass flyer. We'd be like, who the f is this? Whoa. Damn, that motherfucker got it together. You know what I'm saying? No, it didn't exist.
Looks like it's for a tile company.
We'd be like, where the f he make that at? We gotta find out so we can go there.
So I guess believe what you want to believe. In 2000, you know you can't spell Eminem without controversy, and M got it from so many different angles.
I mean, critics have like completely ignored what this Eminem record's about.
Which is what?
Which is, you know, vile misogyny and homophobia of the worst, most rancid, festering sort.
White teenagers especially loved M because he was their gateway into hip-hop and spoke for the angsty portion of white America. But the old heads in white America hated Eminem. He was so controversial with his bars, they just couldn't accept that one of their own was so anti-establishment. His rebellious attitude towards his haters, so to speak, is kind of what made a lot of the parents' kids at the time rock with him even more.
Parents have largely ignored it too. Even many of those driving their children to see Eminem at this Chicago concert.
Do you know about the lyrics where he, bashes gays and women?
No, I don't listen to him. My kids do.
The kids are part of a long tradition of rebelling against parents.
They were bound and determined to get here anyway, so we brought them so they wouldn't pay out the butt for a limo.
There was also some very infamous incidents that went down at a parking lot in June of 2000. In fact, Eminem caught 3 felony charges this weekend alone. So Eminem actually got himself a gun at this point, legally licensed. He went to a parking lot with that gun with no bullets. The whole thing ended with him being accused of pistol whipping a man who was kissing Kim. Just the day before, he got into a little scuffle with one of ICP's homies. So yeah, a lot of things could have went left for M at this point. And he was doing this when he had the biggest album in the country, maybe even the world at the time. And he said he was doing this completely sober too, literally being arrested twice. He ended up having 2 years probation for all this. In the summer of 2000, he went on one of the biggest hip hop tours of all time, the Up in Smoke tour with Dr. Dre, Exhibit, Snoop Dogg, and Ice Cube.
I
how's your show going? Hey, it's going pretty great. I'm just trying to change clothes right now to get back.
It's gonna be on in a minute. This is the intermission where I go change, then I do some more drugs, then I come back out. But the crowd don't know it. The crowd don't know I do drugs, so don't tell them.
While Eminem was doing his thing on tour going crazy, Kim, on the other hand, was attempting to end it all at her Detroit home. Just a month after the release of the Marshall Mathers LP, this would actually be one of a few times she would try attempting that actually, as she would try a few more times after that, years down the line.
Can you tell me your name, sir?
Yeah, all I know is I'm upstairs, I'm listening to my Will Smith CD.
I definitely gotta mention how him and Will Smith didn't necessarily have a beef with each other. It was rather just a few jabs and subtle subliminals towards each other, but it's worth mentioning. At first, things were all cool with Em and Will, especially when Will Smith was in the movie Wild Wild West, and Dr. Dre and Eminem ended up on the soundtrack for the movie, on a song called Bad Guys Always Die. Pretty underrated track actually.
You never met me, you probably never see me again. But I know you, the name's Slim. You want revenge?
But things would take a turn. In 1999 at the MTV VMAs, both Will and Em were competing for the Best Male Video category. The organizers even seated them together. The award actually went to Will, and Proof and Eminem even shook Will's hand and congratulated him. But then when Will went on stage, he would say this.
I never killed nobody in none of my records. I don't use no profanity in none of my records, and still I managed to get up there.
Em wasn't necessarily too pissed about this. It was more Dr. Dre who felt some type of way. Essentially, he felt like Will was attacking gangsta rap, and that's what Dr. Dre came up on. Dre would diss Will in an interview not too long after this.
Hip-hop songs that really irritate me right now is the happy bubblegum type hip-hop, you know what I'm saying? Can't get into it. For example, it's that Will Smith last record.
And of course, we know the bars from the real Slim Shady, where he says,
Will Smith don't got a cuss in his raps to sell records. Well, I do, so f*** him and too.
In an interview after this, he would say,
what's going to happen now if people start being really nice to you, and if you start getting like really rich, really, really happy, and you've no, mother barking dogs to talk about?
Then I'll probably rap like Will Smith.
In another interview, he would say,
if I want to diss somebody, then I'll diss him. I'll just come out and say Will Smith. And he dissed the whole gender of rap. He dissed gangster rap music. I respect him for saying his opinion, but not everybody is as happy as Will Smith. So if he sees life, about birds and bees and wants to rap about flowers, then let him rap about birds and bees and flowers. But don't diss nobody else. I felt like he was taking a stab at me and Dre and anybody who uses profanity on a record to express themselves.
He would even throw more jabs at him in a Tim Westwood freestyle, saying,
every time I grab the mic, I ain't never soft. Not Mike will soft like Will Smith. These kids don't want to hear Will Smith. They want to hear real shit.
At the European EMAs in November, Eminem couldn't attend the show because he was touring in the US, but just in case he won an award, which he did, he made pre-recorded videos to be shown at the show. And in that video, he's seen rocking a Will Smith mask.
TV, your best album, wow. Hey, they told me to keep it clean this time, so
Will would throw like one or two jabs back at M over like the next 20 years, but nothing really memorable. Although funny enough, in 2022, Will would confess in an interview saying that he hated being called soft in the rap industry for not cursing in his songs.
He can't be the...
Now we can't talk about the early 2000s without
Napster, a music sharing platform where you could listen to any song you wanted to for free.
Napster. For those watching this that have no clue what I'm talking about, to put it in technical terms, Napster was a peer-to-peer file sharing app on the computer, primarily associated with digital audio file distribution.
People didn't want to consume an entire album by this artist who maybe had a couple of hits.
So you're essentially paying $20 to listen to a song.
And then as time went on, they had the birth of MP3 players.
We felt like internet offered an enormous opportunity to change distribution of music and get more music out to more people in the world.
And it instantly became tradable and instantly became an online currency. Do you have this? Do you have that?
Founded by two teenagers who had a vision, Sean Fanning and Sean Parker, The platform originally launched on June 1st, 1999, and long story short, they would eventually file for bankruptcy just 3 years later in 2002 after a bunch of lawsuits, gray area stuff, and legal battles. Most of you may be familiar with LimeWire, which I used to use all the time, bro. Just look at all these CDs I just found in my closet. I used to make these all the time back in the day. Get a little Sharpie, you know, make a little mixtape. Who knows how many times I got rickrolled or caught viruses on my computer back in 06, but yeah. LimeWire was very similar, a place where you can literally just search for any song you wanted, especially for someone who just can't afford music. You gotta think about it, back then when I was growing up, the only way I was really getting music was TV, the radio. It wasn't through demand. I couldn't just search up a song and listen to it. YouTube wasn't even a thing yet. So to be able to get any song you wanted just at your fingertips without having to pay for anything was insane. So yeah, Napster was even before that. One of the first of its kind. It literally changed the game completely and shifted how we consume music to this day, and was pretty revolutionary and ahead of its time. Metallica played a huge role in Napster getting shut down, as well as Dr. Dre. Through his label Aftermath Entertainment, he filed a copyright infringement suit against Napster in April of 2000. Someone else who was really affected by this was, let me guess. He had one of the biggest albums sold of all time.
Hi, my name is what?
Of course, Eminem. When it came to the internet, yeah, let's just say they weren't close friends. Let me explain why. In the 90s, music was primarily consumed via cassette or a CD, I know, fossil-like. So when the internet in the late 90s started becoming more popular, the access to connectability amongst the world started to slowly become a thing. It was becoming easier to share things like a file or communicate with others online. That's when this thing called the MP3, which became popularized around this time, became the bane of the music industry's existence, bro. The higher-ups hated it, the labels hated it, artists couldn't stand it, justifiably so, cause, you know, the industry was losing out on hundreds of millions of dollars. But to people like us, the consumer? Oh yeah, it's like a kid in a candy store. Sure, we were nervous to download them, and we knew it was illegal, but how much of a big deal could it really be?
Sir?
Shut up! You downloaded a lot of songs. You got anything to say for yourselves?
Didn't think it was that big a deal.
You think downloading music for free is not a big deal?
I'm not gonna lie to you, I remember my parents being scared that I was using LimeWire, thinking the FBI is gonna come knocking through our door or some shit.
What the hell is that? I don't know, let me check.
Freeze, FBI!
Crazy times. So Eminem blowing up in '99 couldn't have been a worse time for M in terms of piracy and the explosion of illegal downloads. In fact, his team even joked about MP3 files on his website back in the day, calling them MP3s, allowing you to download snippets of a new song that was coming out. But of course, with Eminem being as popular as he is, everybody wanted to listen to his music, even if it meant downloading it illegally. In early 2000, without even a title or release date of the album, song names were already being leaked, and some of them were accurate. The album was supposed to drop on May 30th originally, but as time went on, the tracklist became more and more on point. So that means someone had their hands on the CD and leaked the tracklist. So they advanced the release date of the album by a whole week. They also announced that the first single, The Real Slim Shady, would be released on April 21st, but of course, it was leaked on Napster. So they ended up quickly dropping the radio release 3 days earlier. This was one of the first of many times Eminem's music would leak online. People were actually creating bootleg CDs to sell on the street with lesser known songs from M, and even features, and made a fake tape called Effin' Crazy. And it didn't take too long before Eminem's website would say this: "Please be advised that any idiots on the street selling you copies of an album that looks like shit and is titled Wizark by Eminem is a bootleg fake with absolutely no new material on it and has poor sound quality. The only real new Eminem album is the Marshall Mathers LP on Aftermath/Interscope Records. So the leakers saw this and went, okay, so that's the name of it. Bam. The album leaked on May 11th with the official title and tracklist, and people were already starting to make bootleg CDs of it, which made his team make another warning on their website saying, "There's a bootleg Marshall Mathers LP for sale on the streets. Don't waste your money. It is merely a copy of the Marshall Mathers LP snippet tape. The CD has been spotted for sale on the streets in New York. Just look at the titles on the back, and you will know it is fake. It doesn't even contain Bitch Please 2 or Stan. Don't waste your money. Pick up the real deal on May 23rd. To make things even worse for M, his address and phone number was leaked as well, making him furious, and he went off on his next interview.
I'm sorry, but if you can afford a computer, you can afford to pay $16 for my fucking CD. And whoever put my shit on the internet, I want to meet that motherfucker and beat the shit out of him. Because I picture this scrawny little fucking dickhead going, "Oh, I got Eminem's new CD. I got Eminem's new CD. Look, I'm gonna put it on the internet."
But oddly enough, yeah, Eminem at the time probably felt like, yo, I'm losing out on album sales. But in my opinion, with all the thousands, maybe millions of illegal downloads of the album, who knows? Maybe that just made the demand for the album even more. You know what I mean? Like word of mouth, people just telling each other, bro, this album is fire, you gotta go buy it. Maybe it made the album more popular.
I can't read, but I still write to my pen pals. I can't fly, but I still float on cement clouds.
I also can't forget to mention the group, the Outsidaz. They were a dope group out of Newark, New Jersey, who had affiliation with D12 and would even bring Eminem out at their shows.
You and Eminem both were honorary members of the Outsidaz as well.
Yeah, yep.
So how did your guys' relationship with those guys kind of form?
I went to this rap battle in Washington, D.C. Me and Elzai from Slum Village.
Oh, word.
We ended up battling Young Z and Pace.
What?
Yeah, and then we got each other's number. They told us, we was in Jersey and New York to hit them up. And I had went to Jersey with Proof. And, I started kicking it with them. And I told him about him, like, yo, these kids in the Outsidaz, we got to meet them, man. So I ended up taking him to Jersey. They heard him. And, we just became real cool, you know what I'm saying? Like family. Went on a couple of tours. We just became like honorary members.
Yeah.
In fact, Fat Joe even mentions them in an interview with Big Boy.
I remembered Eminem from performing with this group called the Outsidaz. They had a very dope thing. This is where I met Biggie too. It was called the Lyricist Lounge in New York. Eminem, skinny white boy, me and Pun closed the Lyricist Lounge. We headlined, and he performed with some Outsidaz. And they all black kids with dreadlocks. And he was so skinny. He was going so crazy. They was holding him by his pants because he was going to fall off the stage. And we knew that he was crazy. It was too late. It wasn't demo time. He was on. He was just about to go with Dr. Dre and all that.
And even talked about how later on down the line that Eminem mentioned to Joe that he gave him his demo like 6 times and passed up on signing him. Joe probably could have easily signed M if he wanted to, and who knows where M's career would have went had he signed to Terror Squad instead of Dre and them. Yeah, I don't know, man. No disrespect to Joe, but I'm glad M took the route he took. The Outsidaz actually got into a little rift between M because originally 2 members from the group, Pace One and Young Z, was on the song Amityville off the Marshall Mathers LP, but Dr. Dre complained that Eminem had too many guests on the album, so their verses were removed from the track. But in 2014, Shady Records released a compilation album which featured a track called Fine Line, and on the song, Eminem talks about his appreciation for the group, specifically Pace One and Young Z.
I find that there's no in between. It's like people either love me or they hate me, or love to hate me, or hate to love me, or whatever, however you want to say it. How do I cope with it? I just don't care.
Just don't pay no attention. There's too much shit to pay attention to.
Even the various organizations trying to stop you coming to their towns or cities to
I think it's hilarious.
Yeah?
I think it's funny.
It doesn't affect you at all?
Nah. If anything, it affects my wallet. It makes my sales go up, if anything. Yeah. So, you know, if they really wanted to shut me down, they just shut up. But they won't. No. So I won't.
What do you have to say to these organizations? To trying to
I don't have anything to say to them.
No?
Keep doing what you're doing. That's all I can say. Thank you.
Now we're in 2001. Eminem was at the peak of his fame and influence, and it was a pivotal year in his career, both musically and personally. Even though the Marshall Mathers LP was released in May of 2000, its commercial and cultural impact was still massive throughout 2001. It continued selling millions, and the controversy surrounding its lyrics kept him in the headlines. In February of this year, Eminem was like, you know what? Let me attend the Grammys, bruh. Why not? Cause how I look like winning these awards and not showing up. I gotta at least show respect to the people who actually voted for me, so that's exactly what he did. He ended up winning 3 Grammys that night. Best Rap Album for the Marshall Mathers LP, Best Rap Solo Performance for The Real Slim Shady, and Best Rap Performance by a Duo or Group for Forgot About Dre. And honestly, the craziest thing about this night wasn't that he won 3 awards. That was kind of obvious. No. The most shocking thing was him performing Stan with Elton John live.
She's gone cold and wondering why I got out of bed at all.
Dear mister, I'm too good to call to write my fans.
It was you. Damn.
On my wall.
M performing with Elton John was a huge deal because it directly challenged accusations of homophobia that had been surrounding Eminem for over a year. Elton John is one of the most prominent openly gay musicians in the world and a longtime advocate for LGBTQ rights. Him performing with M sent a powerful, unexpected message, especially since people assumed he would be against Eminem's lyrics. And I'm telling you, at this time, M was under some serious fire for songs like Criminal and Kill You, which features multiple slurs and violent language that many interpreted as homophobic. The LGBTQ organizations even publicly protested his Grammy nominations and called for boycotts, saying he promoted hate speech.
Well, he's a multi-platinum artist and a bit of a troublemaker.
And now Grammy nominations stir controversy for Eminem.
Eminem's record-breaking album, the Marshall Mathers LP, has garnered the rapper 4 Grammy nominations. And as a result, many people are outraged. After throwing stones at the Grammys and critics in his hit single, The Real Slim Shady, Eminem's album continues to receive critical acclaim.
It is one of the best records of the year. The guy is the most talented rapper out there. I know it, he knows it, other rappers know it. Does he deserve Grammy nods? Yes.
And its share of criticism. The Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation launched a strike against the rapper after he received his Grammy nominations, criticizing his lyrics as, quote, sending messages that endorse hatred.
Many people object to it. They find his opinions and particularly his hatreds because he hates many things in people, including himself, I'd like to add.
And during all this time in 2001, M and his squad D12 were working on their debut album, Devil's Night, the first album under Shady Records. M served as an executive producer and was featured on most of the tracks. Known for its shock humor, violent and explicit themes, similar to Eminem's solo work.
The album is crazy. I think it's gonna make a lot of people mad, and I don't think it's gonna disappoint one Eminem fan and probably gain a lot of new fans for D12.
Full of crazy rage and angry teenager, nothing can change me back. Gangsta rap made me act like a maniac. Picture me sitting in a jail cell rotten, I'm barricaded in a motel with 12 shotguns. Whoops, I did it again, didn't I? My shit's harder to figure out than what Britney's shit size is. But nothing compares to these blue and yellow purple pills. This kind of music, use it and you get hand to do this. Whenever you hear something and you can't refuse it. My adolescent years weren't to what I do now. I never grew up, I was born grown, grew down.
Despite the album receiving many mixed reviews from critics, the album gained a strong following after its release. The album debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200 with a little over 371,000 copies sold in the first week. There's a lot of bangers on here, bro. This year he was featured in a bunch of magazines as usual, but one thing that was a huge goal for him this year was to do a movie. Ever since the Marshall Mathers LP released, he wanted to do a movie showing something similar to how he came up, something loosely based on that part of his life. He always felt like a lot of kids would be able to relate to his story. Crazy thing is though, he was getting offers to films back in 2000. It was just something he wasn't quite ready for yet. But he knew eventually he had to get involved with it. His biggest worry about doing a film though was he felt like it'll affect his recording by taking him out of his element, and that's the studio, which is truly where he feels comfortable to be. And his biggest thought was, what if I spend all this time filming it and it comes out trash, or it bombs at the box office? So many things went through his mind. Then Jimmy Iovine set up a meeting with a guy named Brian Grazer, who would become the producer for the now Grammy Award / Oscar winning film 8 Mile. During that meeting, Brian had told M that he loved his work on MTV, specifically when he did the MTV segment.
Yesterday on TRL, we saw Britney Spears, NSYNC, the Backstreet Boys, and a bunch of other trash. But today is actually going to be a good show as MTV becomes MTV. You'll see what I mean right here, right now. Without further ado, let's get into our first video. You know them all, you love them. The Backstreet Boys. Yo, hold on a minute. Stop! Yo, this is MTV. Eminem TV. There will be no videos here by the Backstreet Boys, Instinct, 98 Disease. This is my channel for the next 2 hours. I will be taking over. There will be no countdown. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna pick my own videos for the next 2 hours.
Seeing M in that light made him see something special in him. He knew he had potential as an actor. So after that meeting, they spoke about choosing a writer, working out some ideas, and they'll go from there. When M received the first draft of the script, it took him a while to really start reading it because truly, he hates to read. But after 3 to 4 pages in, he was completely drawn to it. It was so close to that period of his life, it was insane. He called up Paul Rosenburg and said, "Let's do it." Proof and M sat down with the writer, Scott Silver, and told him a bunch of crazy stories. The role just felt so natural for M, as it just put him back in that time in '95 before he was famous. But we'll get into when 8 Mile was finished and released the following year. But as of the rest of 2001, Eminem would go on to drop one of his best features of all time, to the point where even Nas said,
Eminem murdered you on your own shit.
Renegade. Eminem completely destroys that beat. Interesting thing about that song though is that it was originally titled Renegades and originally had Royce da 5'9" on it and not Jay-Z. M and Royce would have a bit of a falling out soon after this, and I'll eventually get into that, but yeah, how it happened was Jay-Z was running on a deadline for his next album, The Blueprint, and always wanted to work with M and vice versa. Royce said in an interview about this saying,
I was signed to Sony Columbia, and Marshall was executive producing my album. We were gonna do 2 songs that were gonna make the album. And we had another one that was called Rock City, where he was doing the hook that we felt like could be a single. So we opted to go with that one over the Renegade one, but we recorded both songs. When we did the Renegade joint, I just thought it was okay, because we had did so many songs together where we was just kind of rapping, you know what I'm saying? So I just thought it was okay, and it was just one of them joints that was just kind of sitting. He called me one day and was like, yo, I want to send the Renegade joint to Jay, because I've been kind of like, he been asking me to do stuff and I keep missing the boat. And I'm such a fan of both. And Jay is like definitely one of those people that I always wanted to see him work with, you know what I'm saying? So when he sent it to him and he did it, that's when it started sounding great to me. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, this is what this song is supposed to sound like. So I think what people are arguing is just, they're arguing preference at that point. You know, you got 2 guys that do 2 different things. They so good at what they do, they figured out a way to join the 2 worlds together.
It's an ongoing debate to this day, which verse you like better. Some people like Jay-Z's content and can relate to it more, and some people like Eminem's flow and how he grabs you right away once he gets on that beat, but either way, the song's a classic.
But there's a huge interference. They're saying you shouldn't hear it. Renegade. Never been afraid to say what's on my mind.
He didn't even need to change his verse. He kept his verses the same from the original Royce da 5 one.
See, I'm a poet to some, a regular modern day Shakespeare.
And he didn't need to. It was that good.
Nice to see you again.
Same here.
This is the very stage that Hootie and the Blowfish have performed on. Here we sit.
Who?
Now we're in 2002, and it's hard to put into words how popular and just how much of a global superstar Eminem was this year. Now personally, I was maybe like 8 years old at the time and probably shouldn't have been listening to anything Eminem said, but you just couldn't escape it. I bet someone's great aunt from, I don't know, Germany knew who he was. He was on TV all the time. Everyone in school was talking about him or had a Walkman playing his music. I just read a Reddit post that I found pretty interesting about his popularity, and it said, quote, he was 4 times more popular than Lil Wayne was at his peak, if that helps. Michael Jackson, Elvis, and the Beatles sort of popularity. Now that to me is an insane amount of popularity because I was in middle school going into high school when Wayne was at the absolute top, and he was a superstar at that point and was all over the radio. Everybody wanted a feature. The mixtapes was buzzing. The Carter 3 sold 1 million in its first week. So to see that he said 4 times more popular than Wayne, it's like, damn, that's insane, but I believe it. This is also the year his next studio album would drop, The Eminem Show.
It's a crazy ride, man, and nothing is guaranteed. Like I could wake up tomorrow and this could all be over. So what are we doing? We're going to the store to get this to what?
We don't have any copies of your album. We gotta go buy one.
And it's out today? Yesterday. Wasn't it supposed to come out Tuesday?
Yes.
Can't people just wait and get it off the internet?
We'd rather than buy it.
I feel like this is my best record so far. You want to buy my album?
I want to buy your album.
I got it off the internet, but it doesn't sound as good. I put my ass in this album. I really worked hard.
15-inch drive.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I feel like it's shown growth.
You're one of the dopest MCs out there, man.
Thank you. So we'll see what happens. Does this contribute to SoundScan? I really hope so, because that means that that's $1 from me.
There you go. New York is going to get a look at Eminem. And then it's such chaos out there that unfortunately we're going to have to shut the shades, but it's a real sight to be seen.
Hey, yo, my album is out today. Go buy it. Hey, yo. You and your album. I love it.
But one would ask, how could he possibly top his last critically acclaimed album? But before we even talk about the release of the album and its impact and all that, I'm sure a lot of you know this already, but if you didn't, well, the Eminem Show leaked. It was one of the most high-profile and disruptive leaks of all time. The album was leaked damn near a whole month before its initial June 4th, 2002 release. The album surfaced on file-sharing platforms such as Kazaa, Napster, you name it. And on May 21st of 2002, due to the widespread leak and growing piracy, Interscope/Aftermath/Shady Records moved the release date up by a whole week.
Well, we just found out today that we have no choice, but because of demand and the piracy, that we have to push the Eminem album up to May 28th rather than June 4th.
The album was officially released early to retailers, but only in CD format to combat the damage. And around May 26th to the 28th, the album officially dropped in most territories, but despite the album leaking, it still reached major sales milestones. Eminem himself suggested in interviews that he believed international advance copies were to blame. Come to find out though, the actual source of the leak actually got revealed in a 2-part documentary series based off of a book called How Music Got Free. Eminem is in it for a bit, 50 Cent, a whole bunch of people, but if you haven't watched that yet and you're interested on how a lot of albums got leaked at the time and how the industry dealt with that, you gotta watch that. The crazy thing about the leaks though, they were from a manufacturing plant in Shelby, North Carolina, from a dude named Callie. And from the help from others too. There was a whole underground internet leaking group called RNS who would leak albums weeks, sometimes months before they even come out. man, songs began appearing one by one, starting with Cleaning Out My Closet
All this commotion, emotions run deep as oceans exploding.
and Without Me.
I created a monster. Nobody wants to see Martian no more. They want Shady on top.
Then the full album soon followed in low quality MP3 format. Again, this was one of the first major global album leaks at a time when the internet's impact on music piracy was growing. And like I said before, despite the leak, the Eminem Show still sold over 1.3 million copies in its first week. It went on to become the best-selling album of 2002 worldwide. In a 2002 interview, Eminem expressed frustration with the leak, saying, "It effed everything up. It was supposed to be a surprise, but I'm just glad people are still buying it."
Who share the same views and the same exact beliefs. All this commotion, emotions run deep as oceans exploding. I said this looks like a job for me, so everybody just follow me. Sing about Hollywood, sing about Hollywood. Call me Superman, big tall girls in a single bound. I'm single now, so I collapse. I'm spilling these raps long as you feel them to the day that I drop. You about to witness hip hop in its most purest, most rawest form. Entertainment is changing, intertwining with gangsters in the land of the killers. I'm a pit bull off his leash. All this peace talk can cease.
As is his style, Eminem blasts back into the spotlight. At a Washington, D.C. concert, over 24 fans were injured during a stampede toward the stage as the controversial rapper performed. And the release of his new CD has been nearly as tumultuous.
He also acknowledged that the early release threw off promotion and touring schedules, but he also used the moment to rally fans to buy the official version, so who knows? Again, just like his last album, maybe the leaks just made people more curious. Or, you know, the word of mouth just kept spreading and made people actually want to go out and buy it for real. Now, to really put these album sales into perspective, a lot of retailers at the time, and just people in general, didn't really know the actual release date. So a lot of stores were putting them out days before the official release date. So technically, and this is crazy, the album only had one official day of release and counted over 280,000 copies sold just for that day. So the first week sales is just from one day. Crazy.
The Eminem Show was originally slated to be released June 4th, but because so many copies are being illegally downloaded off the internet, that date was moved up to yesterday, May 28th. Then last Friday, Interscope suddenly announced it would be in stores even earlier on Memorial Day weekend. Did all the confusion hurt sales? Not a chance. Becoming the first CD ever to debut at #1 without the benefit of a full week of sales, the Eminem Show sold almost 300,000 copies in only a day and a half. Count them. That's 36 hours.
Last thing I'll say about the Eminem Show, it's universally critically acclaimed and is one of the greatest albums of all time, let alone just in hip-hop, with a lot of fans going back and forth in which album they like more, this or the Marshall Mathers LP. Oh, and damn near every song on here was produced by Eminem himself, an underrated aspect to his music that I don't think gets talked about enough, to be honest. 8 Mile.
In between, there was downtime in between the Marshall Mathers LP and the Eminem Show. There was time for me to do it. So once I had the time, I could focus 100%. And the script was good. We did it. Curtis Hanson wasn't from this world. I'm not really from his world neither, you know, with the whole acting thing. So we basically had to trust. We had to put a lot of trust in each other. Being that he wasn't from this world that I'm in, he had to trust me on certain things, like the raps in the movie and music in the movie and stuff. And I had to trust him on the acting, you know, because I had never done it before, besides videos and whatnot.
While Eminem was on the top of the world in popularity, he gives us his acting debut, and it's crazy how well he did for a debut. And what's even crazier is that it's his only lead role in anything. He even said it himself, that he'll never do it again.
Yeah, I made 8 Mile and old people like me now. You know, I'm never gonna do that again.
Yeah, he's done some more acting here and there, and he even has a cameo in Happy Gilmore too, but yeah. Man, 8 Mile was special. Critics praised the film for its honesty, grit, and Eminem's performance. It holds a solid rating on Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic, and is widely regarded as one of the best hip-hop films of all time. and a rare case where a rapper-led movie achieved both critical acclaim and box office success. Fun fact, real underground MCs were casted as extras and battle opponents. The crowd reactions were mostly improvised, creating authentic energy. Eminem would even freestyle many takes, and even reportedly destroyed a few opponents off script, leading to spontaneous crowd reactions. And like I said earlier, Eminem was hesitant to do the movie, but agreed after meeting with Hansen and being promised creative control and respect for authenticity. With a budget of $41 million, it topped the box office opening weekend, beating The Santa Claus 2. And during its second weekend, the film dropped into second place, damn I'm old bro, behind Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, making $21.3 million, but the film would go on to gross $116 million domestically and $126 million overseas, for a total of $242 million worldwide. Now, what made this movie even bigger than it was, the DVD release generated $75 million in sales and rentals in its first week, making it the biggest DVD debut ever for an R-rated movie, and putting it in the all-time top 10 for first week home video sales for a movie. Even if you aren't an Eminem fan, which is kind of crazy, but yeah, I think you could still appreciate this film for what it is. And not only was the movie good, but the soundtrack though? Oh man.
Well, I'ma show you what, you gon' feel my rush. You don't feel it, then it must be too real to touch.
You can argue this is the reason it was so impactful, with Lose Yourself being the most popular track of them all, and is arguably one of the biggest rap songs of all time to this day, even winning him an Oscar the following year, which he actually didn't attend because he thought he wouldn't even win.
The Oscar goes to Eminem, Jeff Bass, and Luis Rosted for Lose Yourself from 8 Mile.
But speaking of the soundtrack though, this put a lot of eyes onto someone who I think you guys might have heard of. I don't know, maybe, maybe not, but his name is 50 Cent.
Yeah. One shot is not enough, you need Lisa Uzi to move me. I got places to go, I got people to see. Used to listen to Lauryn Hill and tap my feet. Then the bitch put out a CD, it didn't have no beats. Damn, homie. In high school, you was the man, homie.
Dre and Em, can you talk a little bit about 50 and how you guys, when you first heard him, what you thought and how you guys hooked up together?
I'll take credit for that.
You should.
Semi-credit. I heard it, I brought it to Dre. Dre heard it, he was sold. Basically, we said, let's do a joint venture. Like, let's, me and you get involved.
Yeah, this is perfect. I'm sitting like 50-50 on 50, like
yeah.
cut it out, break it in half.
That's it. And Dre, once I played it for Dre, Dre was sold on it. It's like the first time I heard it, and we did it. Flew him out to LA. I had a meeting with him, and I sold myself to him and told him what I wanted to do, and then got Dre involved. We had a meeting the next day. Dre came along, sealed the deal, and now I'm making money.
Yeah, that's right. You got the camera on, you got the camera on. When he decides he's not gonna do it no more, you know, you figure out who's gonna be number one, huh? All right, number two now, until he's tired.
According to 50 Cent in March of 2002, he was already in talks with Universal and Jive Records to release his debut album titled Get Rich or Die Tryin' via his own then imprint, Rotten Apple Entertainment. Sometime during the year in 2002, Eminem listened to a copy of 50 Cent's Guess Who's Back mixtape through 50 Cent's attorney, who was working with Paul Rosenburg. After being so impressed with that mixtape, Eminem invited 50 Cent to LA and introduced him to Dr. Dre.
I don't know, I think me and Fifth connected like from the first time we met, and I think that I was a fan before we actually got a chance to sign him. So like when we met that first time, I remember like I was rapping his whole mixtape to him and he was just looking at me, and I was like, this dude probably thinks I'm fucking crazy.
Yeah. A little bit.
Yeah, man, I didn't care back then. I just was like, whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the way me and him connected and how fun it was to like make songs and how quick we were making them. Like I was just ready, like let's go.
for
Bro,
me,
you know I didn't give a fuck back then.
he didn't give a fuck, but I certainly had, you know, other ways of thinking about it. And the way I saw it was 50 was so talented, and it was such an undeniable thing to me that he was going to be a massive artist that you sort of take the little bit of the bad with the good, right? I knew that the talent would win out and that he was going to be huge.
Pretty much immediately, 50 Cent signed a $1 million record deal with Eminem and Dr. Dre, where 50 would then go on to drop a mixtape called No Mercy, No Fear. It featured his own 8 Mile single, Wanksta.
You say you a gangster, but you never none. You say you a wankster,
which we all know was later put on Get Rich or Die Trying. Wanksta began to attract attention from radio DJs throughout the entire United States, building hype for 50 Cent's forthcoming album. Both Eminem and Dr. Dre had started producing tracks on his debut album, with additional help from producers Mike Elizondo, Sha Money XL, and others. 50's next commercial single, which we all know, was a smash called In the Club.
Making a video, my new video called In the Club, produced by Dr. Dre. Dre sent me the record. I don't think he envisioned a club record when he sent it to me, but that's what I did with it. And he did what he did, you know, he sprinkled his little magic on it. Now it's a hit record.
What's going on here right now? What is going on here?
We're about to operate on 50.
We're about to operate on this, man. It's Shady Aftermath Artist Development going on here, and we're trying to develop the artist and make sure that he's up to par. So
that's right.
Andre and myself and the beautiful young lady that was standing next to me.
It was the first of 7 tracks he recorded in 5 days with Dr. Dre, with Eminem and Dre being in the music video. Eminem was featured on 2 songs off the album, Patiently Waiting and Don't Push Me.
Don't let me lose you, I'm not trying to confuse you. When I let loose with this Uzi, I bully my way in this game. Man, I'm done playing, man, I'm done saying that I'm done playing.
The album debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200 charts, selling 872,000 copies in its first week. In its second week, the album sold an additional 822,000 copies, going platinum in just 2 weeks. And I don't think you understand how crazy that is. That's literally everyone actually buying the album. It's not like nowadays where you could just click plus on Apple Music or something. Honestly, there's not too much to say that we don't already know about 50. He would go on to become not just a legend for this music game, but also for his entrepreneur success and being just a successful businessman overall, and a huge troll. That boy 50 is hilarious, even earning himself a Hall of Fame star, which he called a lifetime achievement, forever cementing his name as a bona fide legend. Eminem's role in 50 Cent's rise wasn't just as a label boss. He believed in him when others wouldn't, used his own platform to promote and protect him, and helped craft a strategic blueprint that turned 50 Cent into a global superstar.
50 Cent!
Remember how I mentioned the Source magazine earlier and how it was such a popular magazine, and also were calling themselves the Bible of hip hop? Well, Benzino, who was the co-owner of the Source, refused to give Eminem's The Eminem Show a perfect 5 mic rating, stopping at 4 mics. Eminem was convinced that the album should have been given 5 stars, and I don't blame him. So M refused to do interviews with them. Benzino admitted that he did this intentionally to balance white success in hip-hop. Apparently, when Eminem was in Puerto Rico promoting his 8 Mile movie, backstage after a performance, Benzino tried to talk to M, but he kinda brushed him off since he didn't like that Benzino only gave 4 mics for the Eminem Show, claiming that M was cold towards him. Soon after, Benzino dropped disses on his Hood Stories mixtape, using lines like,
"The only Eminem I know is made men, nigga. By the way, he ain't never gonna play me. I showed this bitch what it really is to be shady. I don't care how much record you sold. You can't walk through the hood without the men in black. Disrespect your mom, you deserve a smack. It's not a black and white thing. That shit's in the past. I got some white boys from Boston that'll bust shit, nigga."
And another song called Pull Your Skirt Up.
You from the outskirts of Detroit, where the bitches meet. I'm serious. If you ain't gonna respect it, why should I?
M responded with some of his hardest hitting cuts, The Sauce.
Coming up, it never mattered what color you was. If you could spit, then you could spit. That's it, that's what it was back when motherfuckers was straight back and ciphering, fighting for life in this rap for
and the 4 was like you were the shit. Now it's like the least you get. 3.5 now, this means you a piece of shit. 4.5 or 5 means you Biggie, Jigga, Nas, or Benzino. I don't even think you realize you're playing with motherfuckers' lives. I don't watch Dre get fucked on the chronic, probably cause I was on it. Now you fucked me out of my mics twice, I let it slide. I said I wouldn't hold my fucking breath to get a 5. Shit, I was right, I'd have fucking died already trying. I swear to God, I never lie. I bet that's why you let that bitch give me that bullshit review. I sat and took it, I ain't look at the shit we knew. You probably try to fuck us with Obi in 52. Relationship we through.
The realist.
I got 50 Cent, I got G-Unit, G-Swizzy in this bitch, but Obi tries. So watch what you say, before you call our name. If you say one more thing, it won't be nice. Here we go, I should've known I was bound to get pulled into some bullshit. Sooner or later, you little haters are too jealous of us to love us. You hated G-Unit, made it, then Obi's coming, D-Twizzy's coming, you're sick to your stomach. 50% if it's 50 Cent, the other 50% if it's whose color of skin it is. But if you're even considering taking our label down, you better find our building and fly plane in the wind.
Nail in the coffin.
I would never claim to be no Ray Benzino, an 83-year-old fake Benzino. So how can he hold me over some balcony without throwing his lower back out as soon as he goes to lift me? Please don't, you'll probably fall with me and our asses will both be history. But then again, you finally get your wish, cause you be all over the street like 50 Cent. You drunk pussy, fuck you chump. Give me a one-on-one, see if I don't you up, trying to jump the Rough Riders and they cut you up, and you put Jada on a track. That's how much you suck in the industry. Swear that you in the streets hustling. You sit behind a fucking desk at the source, butt kissing and begging motherfuckers for guest appearances, and you can't even get the clearances, cause real lyricists don't even respect you or take you serious. It's not that we don't like you, we hate you, period. Talk about a midlife crisis, damn. Last week you was shaking Obi Trice's hand, now he's a buster? What the fuck's with that? Get on a track, dissing us, kissing 50's ass, and asking me what I know about indictments. Bite me, I got 2 cases and probation, fight me. What do I know about standing in front of a judge like a man, ready to take whatever sentence he hands? What you know about your wife slicing the wrist right in front of the only thing that you have in this world, a little girl, and I put that on her. When this is all over, I would never try to make her a star and eat off her. I don't know shit about no shopping rocks, but what you know about it, pop shops, rocking spots, where you're the only white boy up in that bitch just ripping, pressing up your own flyers and your stickers, sticking them up after spending 6 hours at Kinko's, making copies of your covers of cassette singles to sell them out of the trunk of your Tracer, spending your whole paychecks at disc makers. What you know about being bullied over half your life? Oh, that's right, you should know what that's like, you're half white. Vanilla ice, spill the beans and rice, I'm eating you alive inside, Jesus Christ.
And welcome to Detroit City with Obi Trice on the mixtape Shady Times Invasion Part 1.
What's strange to me, Benzino been in the game and Obi just came and he ain't got more fame than me. That's wild.
Not to be confused with the banger Welcome to Detroit with Trick Trick and Eminem. That's a different song.
Hey y'all, welcome to Detroit City. I said welcome to Detroit City.
2 weeks later, on the song Die Another Day, Benzino kinda goes a little too far, going at Kim and his daughter.
Tell Haley it ain't safe no more. Daddy better watch your back at the candy store. Where's your wife Kim anyway? She's on her knees somewhere sucking 50 Cent.
But Benzino didn't just handle things on songs, nah. He tried to end Eminem's career. He used his position at the source to pay $15,000 for tapes dubbed the racist tapes of old songs recorded by M, which featured some pretty controversial lyrics. A song called So Many Styles.
And here's a place where I like to roam, and all the girls that I like to bone have the big butts. No, they don't, cause I don't like that shit. I just here to make a bigger hit. When I be kicking, the hype is dopest rhymes to say that Eminem is the best MC in of all times.
And a song called Foolish Pride, which I played way earlier in this video.
Blacks and whites sometimes mix, but black girls only want your money cause of dumb chicks. So I'ma say like this, don't date a black girl, take it as a diss. If you want, but if you don't, I'ma tell you like this, I surely won't. Never date a black girl because blacks only want your money. Black black girls and white girls just don't mix because black girls are dumb and white girls are good chicks.
He even held a press conference to play the songs and share the lyrics with other media outlets to try and expose Eminem.
In their press release, Benzino and Maze announced they would be playing a tape of Eminem rapping racist lyrics.
We can say that what's on this tape, the tape that 3 white kids from Detroit walked into Dave's office, this is the real Eminem and we're tired of it. We got to make this the same way that you guys have treated Mike Tyson, you guys are treating Kobe Bryant, you guys have treated R. Kelly, O.J. Simpson. We can hear the music now.
I'll get straight to the point. Black girls are that's why I'ma tell you, you better pull up your bridges.
I don't care if he's redeemed himself now. That's not the message. And if that's who he is, then he has to be held accountable for that. I want to see what he's going to say now. The ball's is in his court now.
In response to the press conference, Eminem claimed he had made the tape out of anger, stupidity, and frustration after breaking up with an African-American girlfriend. Although the scandalous nature of Eminem's lyrics have given Benzino and The Source a newfound support for their claims, perhaps the biggest revelation of the press conference was how bad Eminem was just 10 years ago, and how much he's improved since.
Yo, I don't even know what to say, because when I first heard this story, I was like, damn, Eminem has no choice but to respond. The distribution of the songs and the lyrics led to a court battle between Eminem and the magazine. Eminem initially won a judgment after it was ruled that The Source violated a temporary restraining order by distributing the song on their website. The Source was also told to pay M's legal fees, but the judge did allow The Source to distribute the CDs and have those songs on it and a few others, but shortened to 20 seconds each. The Source then released that CD in the February 2004 issue, which featured M on the cover using a stock image of him with the headline reading, "Cleaning Out White America's Closet," and the hip-hop community responds to Marshall's madness. The issue had an interview with Benzino where he said he claimed to lay the drama to rest, but the release of the issue and the CD created a lot of backlash for The Source because a lot of people felt like they crossed the line. But funny enough, after all this, decades later, they never really squashed it or bury the hatchet, none of that. Benzino went on to be a reality show star, or I guess Coyle Ray's dad at this point, and we already know Eminem's legacy. M never really cared to bring any attention to it over the years. It was kind of like a one-sided beef, with Benzino over the years constantly talking smack and then apologizing and then talking smack and then apologizing. The dude really doesn't like Eminem, clearly, or at least the concept of an Eminem being that he's white and made millions of dollars, and he just didn't like that. But it's funny because he made a tweet in 2022 saying, "To all Eminem fans and stans all over the world, the beef is officially over. I'm letting y'all know I have no hate towards any of his fans and recognize his contributions to hip-hop. He truly is a part of the culture and one of the best to rock the mic regardless of his color." And you know, that's cool, that's cute and all, but literally just 2 months later, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inducted Eminem into it, and Benzino was not happy about that. Going on to tweet, "Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is just like the Grammys. They have no respect for our culture, black or hip hop, and if you don't agree, you're racist. Period, point blank." I don't know, man. It's funny to me how he claims the racist card, but to be honest, I feel like he's kind of racist himself, low key. Hating on white people whenever he talks smack about Eminem, always using this race card to discredit Eminem. And crazy thing is, Benzino doubled down. In January of 2024, he dropped a diss track called Rap Elvis. This is one of the funniest diss tracks. You gotta watch the music video, bro. I can't play the entire thing because it'll get copyrighted, but bro, yeah, he can't even lip sync right.
From them streets, I was born and raised in my city. In 86, yeah, that's my OGs. Boy, don't get the type criticism that Diddy do.
Oh man, this is bad. Why is his head so big for his body, son? Like this shit, it looks like NFL Blitz big head cheat code. Like, bro, looking like Fred Flintstone out here. Shit is crazy. Eminem finally addressed Benzino. And this has been, what, 20 years later since he even mentioned his name in a song called Doomsday Part 2. Fire track.
Okay, what is the opposite of Benzino? What? A
gangster rap.
Oh yeah, Benzino even went on Drink Champs only to say F Eminem, this and that. Y'all like him cause he's white? Like, really hating for real. He went from that to crying, bro. You can't make this up.
Huh, Eminem. And everybody down with Eminem. And my thing is this, bro. He can't come in and invade hip-hop in Rosenburg and make trillions of dollars. Man, Eminem, bro. Let me tell you, his fans, bro, his fans like him because he's white. They don't with us.
Gotta make
Eminem. I dusted Eminem. Rap Elvis, yeah. Okay. Yeah, how about that? I beat the out of him with these.
Eminem or Machine Gun Kelly?
Eminem, bro.
So which one?
Eminem,
so
bro.
Which one?
Neither, both of them, bro. Why? Why do y'all like Eminem? Because he's white? Is that it? What do you mean? Nah, like, we don't listen to that in the hood, bro.
A few moments later.
I don't got nothing against Eminem. I got nothing against Eminem. Eminem can rap, but I care about us more. I don't want to go through. I don't want to talk about it no more. I don't want to...
Next. In 2003, it seemed as if Eminem was starting to take a bit more of a serious role, if that makes sense, even with his approach, his look, how he carried himself. He had a little bit of a less flamboyant style, had the shorter hair, he seemed to be more business focused in his interviews, and he took more of a mentor / producer role behind the scenes.
I got another album to do, but right now I'm focusing on my artists.
Executively producing Obi Trice's debut album, Cheers, and had features on multiple tracks.
So they label me this crazy loony rap bully, but truthfully, that ain't the truth, and if you bully, what you gonna do when hits the fan? Are you gonna stand and fight like a man? Chew 'em up and spit 'em out. Too much venom. Together there ain't nothing we can do. Any problem we can see it through.
Even getting Tupac's mother's blessing to help executively produce the soundtrack album, Tupac Resurrection.
Got me heartbroken, so many babies screaming cause they seeing destruction before they see a human being.
We had to go dreads to change our description. 2 cups is on the milk box missing.
Look in the mirror, ask yourself, who are you? If you don't know who you are, how could your dreams come true?
Eminem was a huge Tupac fan, so to him, this was amazing for him to accomplish. Another thing worth mentioning though, is the jabs that Ja Rule took towards Eminem on his song Loose Change, where he insulted M's family, including his daughter Haley.
Em, you claim your mother's a crackhead and Kim is a known slut, so what's Haley gonna be when she grows up?
In which Eminem responded back with the song Haley's Revenge.
Bring that to your Oscar. Okay. We're gonna shove it up Ja Rule's ass.
As well as Go to Sleep.
That's what I thought, you're pitiful. I'm rid of you, all you, Ja, you get it to go to sleep.
And Bump Heads with G-Unit.
But this motherfucker Ja must have lost his mind. That ex got him thinking he was DMX.
Oh, and I can't forget to mention, I know this is going into the future, but low-key it's kind of not. What I mean by that is, a song, amongst a bunch of other songs, were leaked in January of 2025. With one of them, oh man, it's hard to even put into words how crazy this Ja Rule / Suge Knight diss track is. And I don't mean just a regular diss, nah. Y'all thought Pusha T or Kendrick took it too far? Man, I know damn well that Dr. Dre told them to not put this out. That's how dangerous this could have been for everyone involved. And shout out to my boy right here for giving us, in my opinion, the best reaction possible to this song. Low-key, I felt the same way listening to it.
Holding her responsible, the cookie monster of rap won't give Haley back an Oscar. They lost it up Ja Rule's ass. We forgot.
There it is. So he's dissing Ja Rule too. This is after Haley's Revenge diss track that he made to Ja Rule. On that track, he said to Haley, "Haley, hand daddy his Oscar. We gonna shove it up Ja Rule's ass." Bet.
We forgot an Oscar's a statue with a naked man. He told her if she goes to take it back, that'll break her hand. That's okay, baby. Let's leave this one alone. Let him have it. Next your daddy will bring you on 2 more. And remember that pretty little dress that you wore to his show to match his when we saw him perform? Yeah. Well, we gon' send that to his son.
You mean his son is a girl?
No, but he likes to dress like one. And I think he's got a daughter too. But we ain't gotta talk about his dirty ass little kids like he did to you. Cause we don't need to
This is what I'm talking about. Ja Rule talked about Haley. Eminem said, "F
you and your kids.
Cause we don't need to stoop to Ja Rule's level, cause if we do, then that would mean that we'd only be 1'2".
Even though you just
tall
did.
as the statue, we shoved up his ass, and then who knows, he might have room to fit us up there too. Alright, Binky, it's time for you to go upstairs, boo. Give daddy kisses. Can you where are you? Comfort Haley to bed, I'll be finished with this shit in a minute. Just in time for you to make the last call at Skinnies. Haley's gone, what's up now, punk? Since you brought her up, let's talk about her. Chump, you already called her a slut.
Oh my gosh, we never got this, bruh. My phone going off, stop. We never got this, and I was wondering, what the fuck? I remember the first time I heard it. Ja Rule said, you claim your mother's a crackhead and Kim is a known slut, so what's Haley gonna be when she grows up? So Eminem dropped Haley's Revenge with D12. He did something else too. But in the background of that track, he said, you speaking on my daughter, I'll fucking kill you or some shit. But Eminem didn't rap on that track, if I remember correctly. I was like, where's the venom from? He just said this about Haley. What I need something else. I can't believe this was robbed from us. I think Dre told Eminem not to put this song out if he's talking about Suge Knight, because Eminem said that on Like Toy Soldiers. If you listen to Like Toy Soldiers, he said, I went through my whole career without ever mentioning, and it was blacked out. And then he said, and that was out of respect for not running my mouth and talking about something that I knew nothing about. Plus, Dre told me stay out. It just wasn't my beef. So I did. I just sat back watching, gritted my teeth. He's talking about Suge. He said he's down talking Dre and I can't say nothing about it. He's down talking the man that saved my life. He said, but this is business. And this just isn't none of my business. But I'm aware that can pop off at any minute. I think this was shelved by Dre because Dre said, chill. And this is one of the few times Eminem was told to chill, and he did, out of respect. Do I wish he didn't? Maybe it could have went to some street shit, so we ain't gonna speak on that. But man, I love it.
Don't you ever question how we bring our daughter up. You don't even raise your kids. You're waddling Donald Duck, fat ass of a wife who lives in McDonald's does. You stay in LA trying to poly with all the plugs, begging Suge to get him to follow you to all the clubs. But you're too dumb to see that your publishing's all he wants. Thinking you friends till he gets it, and you're the next rapper sitting on the passenger side of that Benz that gets hit again. And LAPD, you'll be saying, who did this shit again? No one who did it, but still nobody admits it. But if I could kill
right. And even him back, come on, man. Even Eminem back then is saying, Suge got Pac killed. Suge did it. And then guess what? He used to diss Ja Rule saying, you want to be Pac so fucking bad. He said, you know what? Keep going. Keep going. You gonna end up in that car getting shot up next to him. And then the cops gonna be like, we don't know who did it again.
I know who did it. Y'all ain't gotta go to limits to solve it. Just expect a visit from 40 to 50 vatos on your steps. Ready, set to let the shots go pop. Tell him who shot you. I'm holding Suge responsible for the deaths of the two greatest rappers to ever grace the face of this planet.
Whoa.
If only the late, great Mr. Christopher Wallace could talk, he could tell you himself. I'm holding Suge responsible for the death of Ja Rule or anyone else down with the road. In the immortal words of Pac, speaking for me and any other rapper next to get shot. This game.
That's huge. That's huge. The man wasn't cryptic. He said it straight in the hook. That is huge. Yeah. Dr. Dre heard this and said, Eminem, please.
I don't know why the f you even gotta get me started. I swear to God, you gotta be retarded. You regarded the hardest working artist since Pac. Stop, no you're not. Oh my God, knock it off, jog it off his jock. You spoke on the doctor, that's vodka. That ain't y'all talking. Dre, give me the word, I'll sock him. Is the problem? Let's get to the root. Herb's brother ain't the only one shooting himself in the foot. To say that they jumped out of a window and hit the pavement off the Empire State Building would be an understatement. It'd be an understatement to say that they made a fatal mistake. What did you just take? Let me get some of whatever yawn to be where you at. Cause you gotta be a moron to even do that. Roll it up, smoking and throwing a freaking do-rag. John, you got outlaw on your form to see the new tat. You gotta be seeing something we don't.
He said, Ja, you got outlaw on your forearm? Let's see the new tat.
You gotta be seeing something we don't see. Let us know if you know something we don't, please. Cause I just don't see the vision. You ain't even on the vision. You might even die and it ain't even our decision. You made a deal with the devil who's giving you his permission to imitate a legend we all love so much we miss him. And now this is getting disgusting cause it's sickening cause we see it but no one says a thing. We just pretending it.
He still digging at Ja Rule, like, stop trying to be Pac so much. You're not him.
We just pretending it doesn't exist, but it does, and it's been itching and just eating at me so much, and it just getting to the point you might as well go to shoot the soon position, drop to your knees and just suck and get it over with.
I love that flow. He's the
Your reign is over with, and you know that you just don't want no one to notice it. That jealousy shit ain't even entertaining. You're crying, your voice is straining like you're dying. But look in the sky, it ain't even raining. Come out of the rain. Thug motherfuckers know speed the realest shit I ever wrote. It's all lost up in the studio, getting blow to the truest shit I ever spoke. It's all lost. I'm gonna be the death of me, but I'm gonna expose the truth even if it kills me.
Yo.
This game is gonna be the death of me, but I'm gonna expose the truth even if it kills me.
It probably will.
Stupid, I'm gonna make you shut up once I get out there too. Smack you across the face.
Haley.
But unfortunately for M, he just couldn't protect himself no matter how hard he tried from the leaks. A bootleg album was floating around in late 2003 titled Straight from the Lab, consisting of some of M's strongest work, with some of these intended to be on his next studio album, Encore. And according to Complex, the songs on Straight from the Lab were allegedly leaked by a friend of Eminem's brother Nate Mathers, who had found a CD containing a selection of unfinished music at Eminem's house.
And I know how you jealous ones envy. I shoulda knew better from the first few letters you sent me. Monkey see, monkey do. Don't ever make the first move. Just let him come to you.
In fact, the song Bully, which was featured on this tape, was ranked number 50 on Rolling Stone's greatest Eminem songs of all time.
Then he acknowledged my existence, but he just displays complete lack of respect.
And of course, we'll get into Encore in a few, but about these leaks, Eminem said this in an interview.
You know, that album actually would have been right there with the Eminem Show if we hadn't had those leaks. Because if Bully would have been on there, the Cannabis song,
We As Americans?
Bully, We As Americans, Love You More. I had 7 songs from it that leaked.
Yeah.
And it was half the album. So I had to go back in. If the leaks wouldn't have happened and it would have been the best song, it would have been the best songs from Encore would have made it with those songs, and then it would have been definitely a more solid
Still a
project.
great album. And what happened?
I don't hate that album, by the way. I don't hate it. I hate when I think back to that time where I was at in life. Like I hated, like what I was doing as far as
drugs.
Drugs and just where I was at.
And at the Grammys of 2003, Eminem walked away with a few Grammys of his own. And not only that, he wore a pretty iconic t-shirt when he performed Lose Yourself.
His whole backcity's broke, it don't matter, he's dope.
Tony Ayo at the time was locked up, and he had asked the officers if he could watch the TV, and when he saw Eminem wear that shirt, man, I can only imagine how that felt for Yayo. With a t-shirt that says "Free Me" on national TV, Eminem's a real one for that.
What did Eminem wearing the Free Yayo shirt do for you in jail?
That was my biggest moment in hip-hop, shout to me, for me.
So yeah, 2003 was a pretty crazy year for M.
Alright, stop. Pajama time.
80er ganz stark war, der ein bisschen angepisst sein könnte. Von daher die Frage, was ist das Problem von Eminem mit Michael Jackson? What's your problem with Michael Jackson?
What? What?
Obviously, it seems that he has a problem with you, so...
I missed the question.
Which brings me to 2004. Oh man, what a year. What a year. One of my favorite years of all time in terms of just, I don't know, everything. Video games, TV shows, movies, music. Man, everything about this year was so peak, bro. I got my DS. I saw Spider-Man 2 in theaters. What else came out? Dodgeball, Shark Tale, You Got Served, White Chicks, even Van Helsing I liked. And don't get me started on the games that came out this year, bro. Stop. Stop it right now. Don't make me cry, bro. Oh man, 2004, some would argue was the last time we would see Eminem working quote-unquote full-time. so to speak, because he will go on a bit of a hiatus following this year, but I'll eventually get into that. But don't get it twisted though, Eminem was still at the top of the world at this point. It may not have been peak popularity like 2002 level, but he was still Eminem. And again, I'll get into that hiatus in a few, but for now, in April of this year, D12 will go on to drop their second studio album, D12 World.
Hey, I ain't on your ear off talking dicks. Got you dizzy off the Chrissy, you ain't walking straight. 40 out, that's the way to 40 out, that's the way to 40 out. Vandals, bananas and no flannels, hands around like handles.
When Ronnie died, you was right by my side with a shoulder to cry on and tissue to wipe my eyes.
I hope y'all understand how I'm feeling, cause I love you, bugs. I wanna rhyme with you, laugh with you, hug you, bugs.
These chicks don't even know the name of my band. What's up, ladies? My name's Slim Shady. I'm the lead singer at D12, baby.
It's funny, I remember my band being all over the radio now that I think about it. But yeah, the album received some mixed reviews, but still sold around 540,000 copies in its first week in the US alone. Debuting at number 1 on the Billboard 200, the album went on to have the best performing first week sales for a hip-hop release of that year, until the release of, drumroll please, guess who? Eminem, with Encore that November.
I'm surprised people didn't catch on sooner with the Encore album that, you know, I'm taking a bow.
So is this your last album?
I don't know.
Alright, time to talk about Encore. This album for many people has a lot of talking points, and we could go back and forth for hours about what could have been, what should have been. The fact of the matter is though, his songs leaked. He felt pressured to make new music within a short time frame, so he decided to rush some of these songs to reach the release date. And we got some songs that some people think are terrible.
You find me offensive, I find you offensive for finding me offensive. So easy to see, you're really just a big weenie, big weenie. You don't know how sick you make me. Shady's a label, Aftermath is a stable. Different horses come out of Eric, of course what about the stirrups?
Some people liked them. Plus, this was at the peak of his drug abuse, so I'm sure if M could go back in time, I'm sure he would have done a lot of things differently, but the truth is, this album is perceived to be the start of his decline musically for many people. Although, the album has some amazing songs.
Now hush little baby, don't you cry, everything's gonna be alright. Even though I hold the weight of the whole world on my shoulders, I ain't never supposed to show it. Mind sight through the mind, I exercise my right to express when I feel it's time. Now everyone report to the dance floor. Alright, stop. Pajama time. Me, I sing song and go ring it strong, ching chong 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 ching. Psych, I joke.
And some underrated ones, I might add.
Let's take the shit back to the basement and we can discuss statements that's made on this tape. And my mama don't want me, the next thing I know I'm getting dropped off, getting dropped off, getting dropped off, getting dropped off. Lord knows I was right, cause you just crossed the line. 1 shot, 2 shot, 3 shots, 4 shots, all I hear is gunshots, this is where the fun stops.
But it's always a dark cloud lingering above the project on what could have been. I even found a forum post from back in November of 2004, and reading people's reactions to it is pretty interesting. So the album actually leaked like 2 weeks before it was supposed to come out. I know, surprising. So all these people from this forum post obviously heard it before it officially dropped on the 12th of November of 04. So the post title says Eminem Encore, biggest disappointment of the year. I got the new Eminem album. So far it's not really my style at all, sorry. Yeah, I got this today too. CD is okay. Eminem changes his voice too much on it though. I can't make my final decision if I like it or not yet. This one's pretty lengthy, but this is kind of funny. He says, wow, I don't know what to say. Production wise, this album sucks so much you have no idea. It got leaked yesterday. You remember D12 World? The beats sounded generic and fast made, maybe except How Come. Well, this album sounds like the D12 World. The beats are amateur as fuck. I think he didn't do too much production with his co-producers, Luis Resto, Jeff Bass and Mark Bass. This is ridiculous. As a stan, I'm disappointed. Man, you just gotta sit and wonder, how would someone have the balls to release this album? And lastly, this guy says, the sad thing is that this album will probably go double platinum. That's funny because Brody right here was not lying. It actually went 4 times platinum by the following month. As of today, it sold 11 million copies worldwide. So yeah, whether you like it or not, you can't really say the album flopped, but perception-wise, things did change a bit for M. The crazy thing to me though, looking back at all this, rest in peace to MJ, of course, the king of pop. But boy, did he not like Eminem after the Just Lose It video dropped. So back in November of 2002, a video of Michael Jackson was all over the news, where he dangled his son over a balcony above a crowd. The backlash was literally right away, and he tried defending himself quickly after.
The media has dissected and manipulated these allegations to reach their own conclusions.
In 2003, Eminem mocked MJ by doing the same thing, but with a baby doll. Now fast forward to October of 2004, Eminem drops his very controversial Just Lose It music video.
Come here, little kitty, on my lap. Guess who's back with a brand new rap?
Where Eminem makes fun of multiple stars, not just MJ, like Pee Wee Herman, Madonna, MC Hammer, and even himself. But although he was mocking other celebrities, MJ is definitely the one that got it the worst, making fun of MJ's plastic surgery with his nose falling off and him chasing it, poking fun of the incident back in '84 when MJ's hair caught on fire while filming a Pepsi commercial, and also touched on the topic, which was the talk of the town with MJ, with all his messing with kids allegations. But he didn't only visually go at MJ, he did it verbally too. And just about a week later, MJ said this in an interview, saying, "I am very angry at Eminem's depiction of me in his video. I feel that it is outrageous and disrespectful. It is one thing to spoof, but it is another to be demeaning and insensitive. I have admired Eminem as an artist and was shocked by this. The video was inappropriate and was disrespectful to me, my children, my family, and the community at large."
The video Just Lose It upset Michael Jackson. Now, reading the Rolling Stone article, you're a fan of Michael Jackson. You've always been a fan of him. So if there was one thing you could say right now to him, what would it be? Because I know that wasn't an intentional thing that Slim Shady did.
Yeah, that wasn't intentional, but I'm just happy that Michael Jackson has heard of me. Like, it was completely meant to be all in jest, as with the MC Hammer, the Madonna, the Pee Wee Herman,
right.
You know, as with all of my videos, you know, most of them.
Fun.
You know, fun.
Pepsi commercial. Michael Jackson's hair catching on fire.
And were you surprised at the reaction from Michael Jackson to the representation of his image in the song and in the video?
Yeah, I was definitely surprised at Michael Jackson's reaction. The video wasn't to pass judgment on anything. You know, he may have felt like he got it the worst because of what he's going through or whatever, but that wasn't the ultimate intention. Was, let's get Michael Jackson right now.
His response is to say he respects you as an artist, and he himself as an artist wouldn't do that, wouldn't portray someone in that kind of light.
But parodies have been the jumpstart of my career, what launched me with How My Name Is. You're playing character. You know, Weird Al Yankovic did it. I didn't hear no flack from that. In the third verse, when I break the rap down, I'm even making fun of myself.
MJ at the time was actually asking video stations like MTV, VH1 to stop airing the music video, with BET being the only TV program to do so. But bruh, MJ fans was not playing around. They literally all protested in Times Square in front of TRL to have the Just Lose It music video removed from their platform. And this was one day before Encore hit stores. MJ got word of the protest and decided to call in and voice his appreciation to his fans.
I believe Michael Jackson is there. Are you there, Michael?
How are you, Geraldo? Hello?
Okay, buddy, let me ask you, how do you feel, Michael, about the continuing support you've gotten from your fans despite all you've gone through?
Well, Geraldo, it's because of my fans that I'm calling you today. I mean, I feel they're the best fans in the world, and I decided rather than have anyone else speak for me, that I would do it myself, you know. And I want to thank my fans for their strong support over the years. They could have been anywhere today, you know, and they chose to be in New York on Times Square. And I want to thank them from the bottom of my heart. They have written thousands and thousands of letters and have made hundreds of calls regarding the Eminem video. And I love them so, so much.
At the end of the day, though, the protests didn't work because Eminem's team was claiming that it was violation of freedom of speech. In January of 2005, MJ spoke on Eminem fully on Fox 5 News.
It's a criminology in mankind that I don't like, that part of it, that kind of, you know, envy. But then there's a beautiful side to mankind too, isn't it?
But not to Eminem. We've spoken about it. I think that you should. Why not?
Speak about what?
About Eminem and this disrespect that he showed you. Stevie Wonder said that he was piling on and how really rude it was for someone who made his money from the community, as Eminem has, to now diss the community in a sense, and a racist, and I've said it, very bold-faced, bigoted kind of presentation. Tell us how that hurt you and how you're feeling about it now.
I've never met Mr. Eminem, and to have him, I've always admired him, and to have him do something like that was pretty painful as an artist to another artist. And it's sad because, well, I think what Stevie Wonder said is true. He should be ashamed of himself, what he's doing. Stevie said he's bullshit, is what he said.
Stevie did, and
he used the word.
He is bullshit.
That's what he said. I mean, I'm not saying it, Stevie said it. And Stevie he's amazing. He's one of the sweetest men in the world, you know.
So when Stevie said that, did you feel a tremendous sense of a reassurance of brotherly love there?
Yes, I love Stevie Wonder. To me, he's a musical prophet, and I always love him. But a lot of people respect Stevie, and he's a very strong entity in this medium, in this business. And when he speaks, people listen. And it was wrong of Eminem to do what he did. I've been an artist most of my life doing what I do, and I've never attacked another fellow artist. Great artists don't do that. You know, you don't have to do that.
Fiasco and the exaggerated response to it. Once again, do you think he only did it because he knew he could get away with it because you're Michael Jackson?
Yeah, but it doesn't hurt, really. It's silly. It's kind of elementary, but I hope he's having fun.
It's like a poo-poo joke.
Yes, yeah.
Well, it still hurts your feelings, and you don't want your kids to see it.
Oh, God, I would hate it if they saw it.
2 years later, though, I guess you could say Michael Jackson hit Eminem with the Uno Draw 4 card, bruh. When MJ's company, Sony/ATV Music Publishing, which MJ had 50% stake in, acquired Famous Music LLC, a company that owned the publishing rights to Eminem's music. So technically, he kinda took a fat dump on Eminem's face with that one. RIP to MJ though, for real, as he would pass away just 2 years after this, at the age of just 50 years old.
Alright, so here we are in front of the elephants.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
2005 was really a transitional and turbulent year for Eminem. He was still one of the biggest names in hip-hop, but behind the scenes, he was grappling with personal struggles, addiction, and speculation about retirement. Throughout the year, he was still doing some interviews.
If you want to hear my next album, I'll see you in hell. It's deep. Which is it's a metaphor, metaphorically speaking. Yes. You know, the death of Jay-Z, and then he moved on to Sean Carter, and then all that, you know.
Who's next?
The death of Slim Shady, and then I'll figure it out. You're listening to DJ Who Kid right now, the biggest bootlegger on the planet. He will bootleg anything and everything. If you have a couch at home, he will bootleg it. It will be sold in Chinatown at your local bodega. It doesn't matter. He is DJ Who Kid.
And he has left the studio.
The hip-hop world should succeed and expand, and it's always forever growing. You know, it's like a tree. It's like the hair on my weenie. You know what I mean? And when you have a big weenie, then it's definitely inevitable that it is very hairy.
Encore was still selling like crazy. Like Toy Soldiers became the third single, but at this point, fans and media began speculating whether Eminem was losing interest in music. because his interviews at the time, you can kind of tell he was on hella drugs. He was taking Ambien, Valium, Vicodin, among others. Friends and his peers later revealed he was barely present mentally during some studio sessions. But like they say, the show must go on, and Eminem was involved in executively producing and creatively directing 50 Cent's second studio album, The Massacre, which would drop on March 2005 and go on to sell over 1 million copies in its first week, and was only counted for a few days, not even a full week, and still went platinum. Eminem helped produce 6 different tracks on it and was featured on one of them.
This is me and 15 G unit, hop back in that back. Mobility ain't gonna be no more rap, it's gonna be hot.
Despite what he was going through, he still went on to go on tour with the Anger Management Tour, starting on July 7th.
You get them little butterflies, you know, I always get them little butterflies a little bit.
Still get butterflies because I still want to put on the best possible show.
Once I get out there and I see that the crowd is with me, and the more the crowd gives me, the more I'm gonna give them.
There's a lot of people looking at me, and then the crowd go, ah.
All my people in the back, put your hands up. Now throw your hands in the air. 50 Cent, you know how I get down. What up, blood? What?
The way you move it, you make my slinky go.
Welcome everyone, what's up? I'm Sujin Pak here at the Anger Management 3 Tour, and as you can see, the show is well underway.
When we get out there and this is, you know, the energy is just, it's crazy.
What would you say is the vibe on stage? I mean, is it...
It's fun. I mean, you gotta have fun with it. You go out there and you perform in front of the fans, and it's, you know, they don't care if you f up or not. They don't care if you mess up a line, if you flub a word, if you whatever. They're with you.
Despite what he was going through, he still put on amazing performances, and fans were excited because this was possibly Eminem's last tour. At some tour stops though, Eminem teased his fans with lines like, "This might be my last time doing this," or "I don't know how long I'll be around." Fans and media interpreted these comments as pretty much confirmation of retirement. But unfortunately, while his fans saw the polished performances, behind the curtain, Eminem was seriously struggling. Friends and crew later admitted he was often popping pills before and after shows. And just a month later, on August 16th, Eminem officially canceled the European leg of the tour. Press released a statement saying Eminem is being treated for exhaustion and other medical issues. A few days later, it was revealed he had entered rehab for sleep medication dependency. Reports said he had collapsed from exhaustion and just couldn't continue. He checked into a recovery center in Michigan. So yeah, the fans at this point, they were worried, shocked, and was really praying that Eminem pulled through this. Although fans suspected something was wrong, this was the first public confirmation that Eminem had a serious addiction issue. And rumors were swirling that this was the end of Eminem's career. At this point, Eminem withdrew completely from public appearances. No press, no performance, no statements, just silence. At this point, fans didn't know if he was retired for good or just recovering. Internally though, at Shady Records, Eminem began discussing a greatest hits album.
May I have your attention, please? I'm Slim Shady, yes, I'm the real Shady. All you other Slim Shadys are just imitating. Hi, my name is... What? My name is... My name is... Slim Shady. When I'm gone, just carry on, don't mourn, rejoice every time you hear the sound of my voice. I never meant to make you cry, but tonight I'm cleaning out my closet. Biggest fan, this is Stan. This looks like a job for me, so everybody just follow me, cause we need a little controversy, cause it feels so empty without me. Alright, now lose it. Just lose it. You better lose yourself in the music the moment you own it. You better never let it go. Snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. The moment you own it, you better never let it go. You better lose yourself.
The idea was kind of to wrap up his legacy, give fans one last album, include a few new tracks written during rehab and recovery, and plans began to form for what would become Curtain Call, The Hits. But nothing had been announced publicly yet. After entering rehab in August, Eminem was recovering privately during October. He reconnected with Dr. Dre and Paul Rosenburg to finalize the rollout of this next project. When they did announce this album, it kind of fueled even more retirement speculation, especially because of the name Curtain Call, which is kind of like a theatrical term signaling the end of a performance. But yeah, the album would officially drop on December 6, 2005, selling 441,000 copies first week, debuting at #1 on Billboard.
We decided to call the album Curtain Call because it's not just the hits. There's 3 new songs on it, there's 3 new tracks, and you know, there's other stuff you can get on there too nobody really has. For example, there's the Elton John Grammy performance. We decided to just call it Curtain Call and give it a title, almost like it's the last call for, you know, applause.
Consisting of some of Eminem's biggest hits, alongside 3 new songs.
Aftermath. Not the expression, no, literally giving on for.
And the live performance he did of Stan with Elton John. The song When I'm Gone, which was one of the new songs, was written immediately after rehab.
When I'm gone, just carry on, don't mourn, rejoice every time you hear the sound of my voice, just know that.
Eminem once said, and I quote, "Coming out of rehab gave me an incredible amount of writer's block. Dre came into town and we tried to work together to get a song for Curtain Call, but my mind was on block. Like, I can't write at all, and there's so much to say. How do I say it? When I'm Gone came at the very last minute."
This was getting a lot bigger than I imagined. In stores November 22nd.
Eminem was also featured in the fire video game 50 Cent's Bulletproof, which I actually own on the original Xbox. Yo, I swear, bro, this game is such a time capsule. It's so 2005, it's crazy.
You actually think you can buy the location of a federally protected safe house with this?
Where is it? I need to see K-Dog.
Yeah? Well, I need a supermodel.
Come on, McVicker.
I don't know who the greatest freestyler in America is today, but I know that the greatest freestyler I've ever seen in my life is Proof. He might use one line in a 60-second battle that was something that he had premeditated, but everything else would be spontaneous. I've never seen anybody be able to have that kind of a natural gift and ability to do that, you know? And I'm not just saying that because he was my homie. I'm saying that because I've never seen anybody be so gifted like that.
Rapper Proof is shot and killed in a nightclub in Detroit. His real name is Deshaun Holton. According to police, an argument led to gunshots at the CCC nightclub located in Detroit's 8 Mile Road.
Rapper Deshaun Holton, better known as Proof, one of the founders of the rap group D12 and a close friend of sometime D12 member Eminem, was shot and killed at a Detroit nightclub. He was 32 years old. Police say Proof was shot in the head after an altercation at the Triple C Club. He was rushed to St. John Holy Cross Hospital, but was pronounced dead on arrival. A second victim in the shooting, an unnamed 35-year-old man, remains in critical condition, and police are still investigating. Proof often shared the stage with Eminem. He was even the best man at M's wedding this past January, but he was also an important figure in the Detroit hip-hop scene. Here's the story.
Like Spliff to Busta, like C's to Biggie, Proof was Eminem's loyal wingman, dating back to the days before Detroit's best battle MC became America's most popular rapper.
From the very first day that I went to Osborne High School and I passed out a flyer to Proof sitting on the steps of the school, we had hip-hop in common, you know what I'm saying? And it was like, regardless of if I was white and he was black, it didn't matter, we'd like to do the same thing.
Born Deshaun Holton in Detroit, Michigan, Proof first rose to national prominence as a part of the D12 Posse. But he was a known quantity even before Slim Shady stole the spotlight. The inspiration for Mekhi Phifer's character in 8 Mile, Proof was highlighted in 1999 in the Source's unsigned hype column.
Proof is absolutely a legend in Detroit. If you go to talk to anybody out there, they'll tell you that Proof, when it came to kicking rhymes off the top of the dome, he got busy.
Proof battled everybody.
He really built up his reputation as being one of the best battle MCs in Detroit.
Never far from the frontman, Proof was, it seemed, always at M's side, on stage, and off.
This is Proof right here, DE4TH in the building.
Just last July, MTV News caught up with Proof on the Anger Management Tour, where his charisma was on full display as he proved his skills on the mic, our mic.
I woke up real sexy like this first.
Being at the top of the rap game with Eminem, with that whole movement, it could be very stressful to maintain that position, but Proof, man, you could come in and he's cracking jokes, he's watching The Simpsons. He was actually enjoying life.
Man, rest in peace, Proof. Not the most exciting year for Eminem, but let's start at the beginning of 2006. He went on to remarry Kim.
I came home from being incarcerated in rehab, and he had asked me to stay a few nights at the house so I could be with the kids, and a few nights turned into a few weeks to a year. So I was home actually 2 years before, a year and a half, almost 2 years before we got married. After Marshall completed his rehab and came home, he had asked me to marry him, and I said yes, but I thought we were going to wait. I thought we were going to wait a while before, we got married. He asked in December.
My wife, Kim, she is like the biggest, she's waiting in line to get him.
I want to stop for a second. You just said my wife, Kim. Are you and Kim back together?
Yes, we are back together.
That's
and we have reconciled and are probably going to remarry.
Wow,
that's great.
What would be your plans for that? What would be would you guys do it somewhere special here in town or go somewhere special away?
Well, the first time we got married, there was like 3 people there. There was like the lady who married us, and I can't remember who else was there. But
plus, you didn't have any money back then.
Flower girl, and this time with everything that we've been through, oh my God, it's been a roller coaster, and I'm sure people get an idea of the story.
Sure.
It's like a back and forth relationship, and there's so many people that have those. We just happen to be in the spotlight a little bit.
But she's the one that loved you before you became famous. That's a bond you can never find with anybody else.
Well, yeah, if you want to count off and on or whatever, regardless of the fact, we've basically been together for 17 years.
She loved you when you were broke.
Yes, she did.
I was excited, I was happy, but at the same time I thought he was rushing things a little, It was rushed, and I didn't want to get married. He had said pick a date, and I said, well, let's wait a while. And he basically said, you either know now and we can set the date, or you can just take your stuff and go, because if you don't know right now that you still want to be with me, then you're never going to know.
Which only lasted a few months. Eminem filed for that divorce, citing incompatibility. It only just added more emotional strain to a year already full of trauma. In fact, Eminem's drug dependency intensified immensely this year, and on top of that, he also gained a significant amount of weight.
Good night, Jimmy.
Eminem said this in his autobiography about Proof's passing, saying, "After he passed, it was a year before I could really do anything normally again. It was tough for me to even get out of bed, and I had days when I couldn't walk, let alone write a rhyme. When I tried to put my thoughts together, well, I wasn't making sense when I spoke. So everyone was trying to keep me off of TV and away from the press. My brain was scattered, especially for the first couple of months after his death. I can't even bring myself back to the place I was when I heard what happened to Proof. I have never felt so much pain in my life. It's a pain that is with me to this day." For a while, he was even blaming himself, as if he jinxed it or something, cause he said Proof played the fall guy in the video for Like Toy Soldiers, the guy shot in the hospital. The point I was trying to make with that video was that rappers get into beefs, but it's really the opposing camps, the entourages, who wind up getting hurt. It unfortunately became reality. In the year after he died, I would stare at the ceiling and think about that video. Did karma cause that to happen in real life? You always want to point the finger at somebody else when something like that happens, Any interviews that he did this year, or the scarce amount of performances that he did, he said he doesn't even remember them. That's how messed up he was during this time. And knowing the context, it's kind of hard to watch, I'm not gonna lie.
Thing for the Gucci, the Fendi, the Prada.
I don't know what you heard about me. With a
Anything else you want to say about the D12 album?
It's not gonna be when Denon says it's not gonna, when it's gonna be a serious album, it's not gonna be like, you know, a depressing album. It's gonna be,
It's everything a memory.
It's dedicated. The album is dedicated to Proof. You know what I'm saying? So, but you know, the truth is, we took an L. We took a really big L.
Real tough.
It was, you know, it was tough times. So we're back with the number 16 video featuring Tupac and Biggie, Mourning. You produced that, huh? Yeah, I produced that. Put that together and it came out lovely. But it's one of my favorite songs, man. It just, you know, reminds me of good times.
They're gonna love it. They're gonna love it. Check this out.
Yeah.
It's number 16 on the countdown right there. Tupac running. Check this out. They're gonna love it.
Which is Notorious B.I.G. And I forgot what number it is because I've been here all day. I think my brain is on a scramble. What number is it? Coming straight out of rehab, crazy mother named Marshall. I mean, coming straight out of Compton. I've watched you grow as an artist. You know, I don't want. We're not looking for O's and I's and all that stuff because I'm, you know, I gotta, you know, say it like it is. The next album, everything, you know, I get the privilege of hearing 50s, a lot of 50s material before it comes out, you know, and a lot of stuff, you know, I'm psyched to work.
And it's gonna be a lot of fun.
It's gonna be a lot of fun, you know, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Both of our albums, I think, are gonna be crazy.
Eminem released no solo albums or singles in 2006, but he did do a few dope features.
Everybody in the place, take a look at the face. I'm used to be with all the trains. Let's turn it up loud, let them know we clean. And I don't even know what the course is. Me, Cleaver, leave a gas in a bitch's ass. He had dreams of being an R&B singer.
Of course, we got Akon Smack That, and bro, when I tell you, this was on everybody's MySpace profile at the time.
Look back and watch me smack that all on the floor. Smack that. Oh, looks like another club banger. They better hang on when they throw this thing on.
This song was such a smash. Literally everywhere I went, all the cars around me was bumping this song. It was such a rare feature. It even peaked at number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100. And they even made a music video to it. Crazy story about that music video too. They found a dead body there. And the body was there for days. And no one even knew. The song was produced by M2, by the way. Again, he's super underrated as a producer. Any talks of a D12 album at the time or tour fizzled during this time. But it wasn't like Eminem was completely silent this year. Shady Records ended up dropping a compilation album, which featured a bunch of Shady Record artists, and the cover art was actually drawn by Eminem himself.
Nothing can stop and nothing can change it. You better just make new living arrangements. Much of a menace in this game is just, and it's the most sinister dude in the business. Chimps can crack corn, but I don't care. My enemies crack corn, but I don't care.
The album debuted at number 2 on the US Billboard and sold 309,000 copies in its first week. And the single You Don't Know was a banger.
And we should all get a merit. This must be we inherit and wear it like a badge of honor. Pass it around and share it.
In fact, this album features one of Eminem's most underrated songs, No Apologies.
No apologies. No, suckers, I'm not sorry. You can all sue me.
And was the reason why a lot of people bought this album back in the day. It was kind of a reminder to everybody like, yo, Eminem is still here. Although sections of the song were written as far back as 2002, so that's probably why it sounds like that.
In my mind, I'm a fighter. My heart's a lighter. My soul is the fluid. My flow sparks it right up. An arthritis. Arthur with arthritis. Carpal tunnel. Marshall with startitis. Hard-headed and hot-headed. Bull-headed and pig-headed. Headed a prick, a big headache, I'm sick, quick with it for every lyric spit it. There are 6 critics who wait for me to slip with it, so quick, it's dynamite stick, buried a wick. It's gonna explode any minute. Some lunatic lit it, and it's not Nelly. Do not tell me to stop yelling. When I stop selling, I quit. So stop dwelling. I'm not failing. You are not ready, cause I got jelly like Beyonce's pot belly. This is destiny. Yes, money, I'm off running, so get off of me. I'm not slowing or softening. No apologies. I make on this. Put the mic down. The voice too hot.
Now we're in 2007, one of my personal favorite years of all time. But the same can't be said for M. In fact, if you were to ask him how his life was in 2007, he'd definitely tell you that this was literally rock bottom. It was one of the few years in his career where he wasn't releasing a new album, wasn't touring, and was mostly out of the public eye. But behind the scenes, it was one of, if not the most difficult and life-changing years of his life. Fans and media started speculating whether he had retired or permanently stepped back from rap. Damn near no public appearances, and his opioid addiction had worsened significantly, taking massive amounts daily. Media coverage of M in 2007 was very minimal, but it often concerned his health, weight gain, and again, speculation about his retirement. And I'm sure the 1-year anniversary of Proof's death didn't help things either. In May, 50 Cent was featured in a magazine and mentioned that Eminem was working on a new album. He didn't do many features this year, but he was on T.I.'s album. Mississippi, Tennessee's every motherfucking state when we touch down. It's so crazy to me that even in his lowest point, he still gives us a dope performance. But apparently, not for M. He admitted in 2009 that his verse on this song was horrible, which I don't think it was bad. I don't know what he's talking about, but of course he had to be on 50's album, Curtis. You making me feel like I'm in middle school still. You squeal like a little girl, you pitiful chill. He was on a random track with a rapper named Helluva. Anywhere you like it, whichever way you prefer it, cause we serving it however you want it. Which, fun fact, this was supposed to be on T.I.'s album, but it didn't make it, so Helluva did his version instead. He was on the hook to Obi Trice's song, Shady Baby. Can't stop us, shady baby, so come party with my crazy. He was also on Cassius's EP. Proof you are the truth. Please don't let us come face to face with these boo-boo-hoo. And speaking of Cassius, in interviews, he had talked about Eminem working on a new album and had mentioned the title King Mathers. So Eminem fans were running away with that and was anticipating that for a long time. It's like this mystery album that everyone was speculating about. And speaking of King Mathers, it was supposedly meant to be Eminem's comeback album before the idea shifted into Relapse. The title was rumored as early as 07 to 08, appearing on fake track lists and fan-made covers. Some songs recorded in that era ended up leaking online, which fueled the legend of King Mathers. A few notable leaked songs that are often tied to the King Mathers sessions include Difficult, which is a heartfelt track about Proof's death. I never got to say I love you as much as I wanted to, but I do. Syllables. And the DJ's playing them hits. Oh, this my jam, this my shit. Things Get Worse. And when will he stop? Shady man, and I told you once, homie, to ease up, but you just won't listen, will you? The Apple, among others. Maybe Shady should've just hit him with a little bit. Did I spit too soon? Should I spoon-fed him it? But I was just so eager to prove I was even worth being in the same league or the room of the people of whom I was in. Every now and then I look up like I was seeking approval. Some tracks were later reworked or scrapped during the making of Relapse and Recovery. Eminem was in a dark period and scrapped most of the material because he wasn't satisfied with it. King Mathers is considered Eminem's lost album. Fans still debate what the tracklist could have been, and some collectors trade bootleg versions. But in terms of anything else, nope, silence, nothing, nada. And in December of 2007, things would take an awful and tragic turn in M's life.
You know, in the hip-hop world that I live in, I think that it can be mistaken for weakness. And the last thing you want to do in hip-hop is admit that you're weak. But if I didn't admit that I was weak with this certain thing, I was going to die, you know, so.
How close did you come?
I certainly probably a couple hours away from death. I overdosed and almost died. You're taking things that people are giving you that you don't even know what the fuck they are.
On Christmas Eve, Eminem had a near-fatal overdose, and you guys need to understand and really put into context just how much drugs Eminem was doing. He had such a tolerance for it that he said, "I was taking so many pills that I wasn't even taking them to get high anymore. I was taking them to get normal. I want to say in a day I could consume anywhere from 40 to 60 Valium, and Vicodin maybe 20, 30. My everyday regimen would be wake up in the morning and take an extra strength Vicodin, and it'd be Vicodin throughout the day. Then as the evening crept up, I'd start with a Valium or 2 or 3 or 4, and every hour on the hour, I'd pop 4 or 5 more." So yeah, on this very night of December 24th, M ends up taking methadone pills, thinking there was something else. He collapsed in his bathroom and was rushed to the hospital. The doctors told him he was literally 2 hours away from dying and spent Christmas in the hospital. Now we're in 2008. To start the year off, Eminem spent about a month in rehab. His recovery journey included therapy, 12-step programs, and support from friends and mentors like Elton John. What's crazy though is that even after nearly dying from an overdose, he ended up relapsing again. And Eminem even said this on his most recent documentary, Stands, which I saw in theaters by the way, pretty dope if you haven't watched it yet. He said that during this time, after missing Haley's birthday party, that really got to him. He said, and I quote, "I cried because it was like, oh my god, I missed that. I kept saying to myself, do you want to fucking miss this again? Do you want to miss everything? If you can't do it for yourself, you fucking pussy, at least do it for them." As a result, he recalled, and I quote, "I realized I'm never doing this again." He even said he had to relearn how to walk, talk, and for the most part, had to relearn how to rap again. He also said, "My writing had gotten terrible. When I started to get it back, it was exciting because I felt it. It did something. It turned the light on. I realized I'm not embarrassed anymore about sobriety. I started treating sobriety like a superpower, and I took pride in the fact that I was able to quit." There was even a song called Detroit Basketball, aka Give Me the Ball, that had leaked in May of 2008 and is considered to be the first song he made after getting sober. M didn't even know which version had leaked because he said he did like 20 different versions, but funny enough, I feel like the song isn't awful, but
I grab it like Gnarls Barkley, holds a mic, it snarls spark me. I smile like Charles Barkley, come on, I'm hard, guard me. Ain't booing, ain't pursuing no lawsuits, I ain't suing. I know what I'm doing, give me the ball and your life is ruined.
Paul Rosenburg said when he heard it, he was genuinely concerned for M and thought Eminem might have had some brain damage after the overdose. That's how bad he thought the writing was. Throughout the summer of 2008, things were still pretty quiet for M, but in September, he ended up on Shade 45 for an interview where he confirmed his active involvement in producing and creating music again, back in the studio with none other than Dr. Dre, where they worked on almost 100 songs. Rumors and anticipation started coming out during this time about his highly anticipated comeback album, Relapse. In October, during the launch of his book The Way I Am, which is a phenomenal autobiography by the way, he publicly revealed the album title and premiered a track called I'm Having a Relapse.
How the hell did he manage to get more felony charges? He's already got life in jail, man. What the hell is his problem?
All right, so we're here for Eminem's book launch, The Way I Am. October 21st is going to be in stores. I heard you have a special announcement. I don't know.
Special announcement? Well, I mean, it's kind of a special announcement. Here's the deal. There's like a lot of album titles floating around out there that like are fake album titles.
I heard some.
Yeah, like bullshit album titles. So I was just gonna say, tell everybody the real title of my album is coming out. It's called Relapse.
Relapse.
Yeah,
Relapse. We.
First right here.
Relapse. Then detox.
That's right, Shade 45. My God.
Now, what is this relapse about?
If I tell you, I'd have to kill you.
All right, tell me and then kill me.
See, that's it. It's a story, actually. The three-headed monster returns. It's before I self-destruct, I'll relapse, then detox.
And in November, he was on one of TRL's last episodes and confirmed that the album is coming out sometime in early 2009.
What's going on in the studio?
Just working.
When is the record coming out?
We're looking at first quarter next year, which is probably, January, February.
And how many tracks have you done?
How many have I done?
Yeah, I mean, how many have you done? Are you still laying them down, and then you'll do like the final pick? Are you close?
Yeah, oh yeah, we're real close right now. I just gotta, just go through everything. I've probably done 100 songs in the last, couple of years, but we just gotta go through everything, pick the best ones, and put it out.
Every time you put out a record, there's this feeling of like, all right, like it's been a minute, so everybody's like, well, what's M been listening to? What's he been watching? Back in the day, it was TRL, and you made the video that we're about to show you, and it sort of parodied a lot of us. We were name-checked in it, and you poked. What has it been recently? What will be the inspiration behind this album that we're going to get from you, this new one?
Oh, I can't tell you that, man. You gotta wait.
Come on, you give me a little something, right?
Nah.
Are you coming with some Eminem? Are you coming after people, or is it just give us a vibe?
Well, you just gotta hear it. I mean, it's just the album's title Relapse, and I mean, it's got a couple of different meanings in it. You know what I mean? So I mean, people just gotta hear it. You just gotta hear it and check it out. See what you think.
Oh, and we can't forget to mention the group Slaughterhouse, which was formed in 2008, signed to Shady Records, consisting of artists Joe Budden, Joel Ortiz, King Crooked, and the now cool again with each other, Royce da 5'9". So yeah, 2008 was a miraculous comeback year, but it was only just the beginning. He barely released any music, no features, and after hitting a low, nearly dying from a drug overdose, he turned his life around, found sobriety, and reignited his passion for music. And now, it's time to truly get the ball rolling for this new arc and new chapter in Eminem's life.
How's it feel to be back in the game after taking four years out?
Oh man, it's actually feeling pretty good right now. You know what I mean?
My shoes just to see what it's like to be me. While everybody is watching in the party, applauding it. There they go, back in stadiums as Shady spits his flow. At last relapse, CD was aired. Perhaps I ran them accents into the ground. Finish with the greatest verse of all time, so you might wanna go back to the lab tonight and my pinnacle walk when I hat cock it. Got a fat knock from that rat profit.
Wow, this album's bad. It's really bad.
It's pretty much a mixed bag with way more misses than hits.
This beat is cray cray, Ray J, H-A. What's my name? Slim Shady. I'm not afraid.
Yeah.